What's up, family? I'm Real Mike Rob. Make sure you tuning in to the 3-point conversion radio. They got all of it, and they keep it funky. Let's get it.
Yo, what up, what up, what up? It's your man, Mr. Controversy. Did you miss me? Yes, we're back inside the 3-point conversion sports lounge. And of course, I got my dog to the right of me doing the everybody get your roll on.
Yeah.
Now, Mace, what up, dog?
And that's what free agency doing, rolling.
Boy, you ain't
Free
lying.
agency is rolling. Shout out to the NFL. It's crazy that the NFL, no matter what season going on, when the NFL ready to debo you, they gonna debo you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Nothing.
Nothing. You know, the NBA tried to do it right before the Super Bowl. That was a good one. That was a good one with the Lucas joint. That was a real good one. That was a big one. You know what I'm saying? But I don't even think the NBA was ready for that. They weren't. Yeah, that wasn't a collective deal. That was just the Dallas Mavericks owner not knowing what he's doing. But either or. But yeah, you're right, bro. It never fails, dog. And the NFL always deboing somebody, man. So
Yeah.
But it's been crazy, man. But how you been, man?
Dude, it's Wednesday. Good week. Hey, we just try to keep it in the middle of the road. That's the motto. As long as we keep it in the middle of the road, we're gonna be all right.
Right. Yeah, I feel you, dog. It's been cool, man. Just like I said, just busy with all of these trades and
Yeah.
free agency and what in the heck is going on and all of that stuff, bro. It's been a lot.
Yeah. Been wild out here, man. But this is what we want. Spring practices around the country, college football, it's taking off. Just what a time. Again, I hate when people always talk about, man, ain't nothing to watching sports. It's something everywhere. Something everywhere.
Yeah, dog.
You just gotta go get it. You just gotta go get it.
Yeah, we do. So I want to say first off, just that situation, bro, with I don't want to get into it too much, but still, just situation with the dude scamming folks.
Yeah, old Malcolm Walker, man. And what's crazy is good dude. Good dude. His son, Mantrez, you probably won't find a better kid out here in these streets. And oh, by the way, his baby sister, who is probably the best sixth grade basketball player in the state of Georgia. So it's just unfortunate that, he's put his family front and center in this tight situation. But I mean, hey, gotta be careful out here. You gotta be careful. And I just, because I've done so many recruiting seminars, I still get invited out to speak to high schools about this stuff. Parents have to stop being in such a rush. Just trust the process, because it's not an overnight thing. And I think so many times parents, they get rose-colored glasses about their kids. You romanticize your child.
Right.
And, in your mind, your child is a lot better to you than what you think, but you gotta really truly leave it up to the evaluator, because at the end of the day, the only person that can offer your child a scholarship are the people who make the money decisions on these said universities.
Right.
I don't care how much film you send people, how many videos or whatever people put together for you. Ultimately, recruiting always comes down to the same three things: how fast is he? How tall is he?
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
know, how much of a playmaker is he?
Mm-hmm.
Those things you can't. That's foolproof. And one of the biggest things I always tell parents when being honest with yourself and your kids, just say, like, if you got a son, he want to go to Clemson, and say your son play wide receiver. You got a smartphone, Google Clemson's roster. You can pull it up every day.
Right.
Look at the position. Look at the sizes of the kids.
Right.
Because pretty much every school, I always say recruiting is almost like dating. Everybody got a type.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about Clemson love tall receivers. They like them 6'3", 6'4", 6'5". Just go look down the list. And if they did have a guy that was under 6 foot, I guarantee you he's probably the fastest person on the team. So traits really matter. And if your child don't have the traits that these schools looking for, it's not going to happen. And furthermore, you are who recruits you. If you're getting offers from mid-majors, that's probably your baseline. You know, if Dabo hadn't called, if Kirby hadn't called, you probably not in their wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and the last part of this, and I use my nephew as a shining example. Kobe went the hard route. Kobe had to go to prep school. Then from prep school, he had to walk on. Kobe was a walk-on at South Carolina State.
Right.
And look what Kobe is today. Hard work is undefeated. And are you willing to trust the process and put the work in? Because everybody want to skip steps and they want to pay people money to try to walk you in the door somewhere. Your play, your skill set is ultimately going to determine where you go in school in the recruiting process. So parents, get some real advice. Don't listen to nobody telling you, if I send you X amount of dollars, I can get you to meet. No, they can't.
No, they can't.
So,
don't believe it.
Yeah, don't believe it. Don't believe it.
Yeah, man. So like I said, it's it's unfortunate, but hey, we're gonna move on, man. We got a great show lined up for you, man. We having some fun today. We're talking we're talking good. What up, Jacob? We're gonna talk definitely free agency, of course. We have to talk free agency, but we got a special guest, man. We have Mr. Steve Wyche from NFL Network. NFL Network Analyst is going to come on and talk NFL free agency with us. Also, we definitely have to talk about, Jacob mentioned, is he LeBron's kid? We got to talk about that situation with him and Stephen A. And I think I hate that it's going on like this, but I'm glad it's going on because we need to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? It's been enough. We've expressed it, but we get into it. It's a funny situation to me, and not funny as a ha ha ha, but just funny because I think you finally get to see both sides of it. You know what I'm saying? From the people that's dealing with it, so that it's affecting. Also, man, so we're gonna bring up a oldie but goodie, and we're gonna talk about we got the segment where where we're gonna be able to talk to somebody. We're gonna be able to sit somebody down, dead or alive. Me and Mace, he get his, I get mine. We're gonna sit them down. It has to be an athlete. We're gonna ask them 5 questions.
Yeah,
5 questions, whatever questions we want to ask. Some questions that you're probably not gonna get the typical. Let's say if it was Michael Jordan, why why are you mad at Isaiah Thomas? No, we're not going to ask no simple questions. It's going to be some questions that you can
thought-provoking.
Yeah, that we want to know. We really want to know. Good, bad. It could be funny. It could be whatever.
Yeah.
We just asking them like some real questions. Then we got to talk NBA with the Hawks. It's so funny, man. As much as we talked about them and everything, and they're not this, they traded away. The Hawks are in 7th place in it.
And here they go. Get a big win the other night without Trey.
Without Trey. Here we
Trey
go
is pretty
again.
close. Yeah.
Yep. So we're going to talk about that. And then I know it's early. I know we still got 4 or 5 more weeks, but who is the NBA? Who is the MVP? I want to know who is the MVP. Like right now, to me, it's a 2-man race. I think we all agree with that.
I don't even think it's a 2-man race, but they're gonna make it a 2-man race.
This is why I definitely want to talk about it because I know who should get it. I think.
Yeah.
But right now, it's a player that just said, "Nah, it's whatever." We'll get into that.
Yeah.
And then we got Dr. Fowler coming in with Ask a Doc. And we're going to ask him some questions. So we can't wait for Doc to come on in and ask him questions about what's going on with injuries. And then we got quick hits. We got quick hits. Stop it. What's on our mind? Well, not what's on our mind today because the question is going to replace that. But either or, you're going to hear what's on our mind today anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, man, let your family and friends know they can listen to the show live. Go to the 3-Point Conversion Facebook page, 3-Point Conversion YouTube channel. And we should be on the 3-Point Conversion Instagram as well, live. So, hey, it's time to get to these quick hits. Let's get it. And first quick hit, Mace. They finally made it official. The Rams let Cooper Kupp know they were going to cut him.
Yeah.
Or release him. I guess that's the proper way of saying it right now. Or releasing him.
Yeah.
Man, like the business in the NFL, bro. What's going on? What you think?
So the best ability is availability. Cooper Kupp has been hurt the past few seasons. He hadn't, been the Cooper Kupp Triple Crown winner, the guy that we've come to love. His time just ran out. In a Puka, DeMarcus Robinson, even though he moved on, Tutu Atwell. It just wasn't any more room for Cooper and at the salary that he's being paid. Right. So, your productivity got to match your paycheck in the NFL. I mean, he's just been hurt, even when he's out there, a lot of times he's a decoy. I mean, you can see that he's considerably slowed down. And you hate it. Great receiver. I mean, this guy had to grind to become a superstar in the NFL. You hate to see him leave, but when you understand the business of the NFL, it's one of those things that, the Rams felt like they had to be done. They had to let him go.
They did. And it's funny, man, because at one point, like 2 to 3 years, 2 years maybe, Cooper Kupp was the best receiver in football. But not just that, stat-wise, and then not just that. You know what? We've seen a lot of players have a lot of chemistry in the game, quarterbacks and wide receivers.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I don't know if I don't know if we ever seen someone even in that 2 year, but that chemistry like that. Because I mean, and they don't have to be great players, but I could name. We could talk about Manning and Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford and I mean, he was the only guy there, but Megatron.
Yeah.
Jake Cutler and Brandon Marshall.
Yeah.
But we've seen some that we just know is money. But this right here, the way they were going, dog.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and to see like they're gonna let him go, like you said, but you got to stay healthy though.
You got to stay healthy. Hadn't been healthy, and you can noticeably see he's lost a step. You can noticeably see teams don't respect him in the manner that they used to. I mean, a lot of times they single covering Cooper Kupp. They like, listen, if he gonna beat somebody on the slant, okay. But as far as I always think about the Super Bowl that they won, and Odell was in his bag before he got hurt. But of course, the offense don't miss a beat because 10 out there.
Right,
And
right.
10 just goes and do work. Vince,
Right. What up, Vince?
So again, we've seen this so many times, and at the receiver position, once you lose a step, it's all but over for you. All
Yeah,
but
no,
over.
it's over. It's
And you
over.
hate it because he's, again, for his time, great receiver, man. Shout out to Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, I just wonder where he's going to go. I mean, it's a lot of teams. Like Jacob said, Niners. It's a lot of teams to use them.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Bears could use them too. But anyway,
and real quick, personally, on a personal note, Cooper Kupp, one of the guys who took Kobe in, and when I tell you the nuggets that he gave Kobe, it's been times where I'm talking to Kobe, he's at Cooper's house,
right?
Or before Kobe got a car, Cooper was just like, "Hey, drive this till you go find you something."
Right.
That's the type dude Cooper Kupp was, loved in the LA community. So he really, really did what he.
Hey, real quick, and we're gonna move on to the next quick hit. But you see a lot of people, a lot of players in the NFL. You hear about this, or the NBA especially, where like you get a rookie and the vet come on. Hey man, I got you. Let me take you shopping. I'm gonna buy you a car. Bro, why can't we have our big brothers or unks do that to us in the you know what I'm saying? Just regularly. I ain't never had no. You can barely get somebody to say, "Hey man, let me take you out to eat." You barely can get that. You be looking like, hey, like that. Like here go 100,000. Do what you like. Hey, shout out to the players, bro.
You ain't got to give it back. You ain't got to give it back.
Right.
Yeah, and it's crazy because Kobe was like trying to get Cooper the car back. Cooper like, listen, dude, I don't care if it take you 3-4 months to find a car. You need to be worried about making this team better. Don't worry about a car. That's the last thing you need to worry about, dude. Have enough cars.
That's crazy, man.
As a matter of fact, I didn't even pay for this car, so
right.
I don't care who drive it.
Right.
So
there's no record.
He was so great and gracious with my nephew, man. So he gonna always have a place in my heart. Shout out to Cooper Kupp.
Shout out to Cooper Kupp. Moving on, Tiger Woods had surgery after rupturing his Achilles in his return to training. All right, Mace. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I know they say a cat got 10 lives or whatever, but Tiger, you gotta lay it down, dog. Just Tiger, we always gonna see you as the greatest. I know you chasing, but we're gonna see you as the greatest, man. We good. You know what I'm saying? We you good, dog. You done enough for golf. You don't have to, because I'm tired of getting my hopes up, or maybe Tiger gonna do this. Then next thing you know, something tragic happens, bro.
The body, father time is undefeated. Father time is undefeated. And once you start getting the injuries that he got, y'all crazy. When you get the type injuries that he's had, think about it. That accident, I thought really truly after the accident, I was like, ain't no way he gonna get back to the golf course.
Right.
But because competitors compete, he continued to find a way, But again, the injuries, he's got a back fuse, knee knee being held together by rods and pins. And yeah, Tiger, it's time. And your legacy is well cemented.
Yeah.
Only people who really gonna be totally upset is the PGA Tour, because they made so much money on Tiger Woods. And I would tell anybody this: if you've never seen Tiger Woods live or hadn't, been to a tournament, we were fortunate enough to cover the Tour Championship in Atlanta when he made that miraculous comeback. And first of all, if you've just ever been in the same atmosphere as Tiger, it's different. You know how they always say, like aura? Yeah, like Tiger glow, like Tiger on.
He got that aura.
It looked like when he walked to the first tee, it looked like that Nike shirt like was drawn on them. The pants were like drawn. Like, dude is like, it's unbelievable to see Tiger in person and watch him operate in person. Star power, crazy, unreal. But I mean, yeah, Father Time and them injuries caught up to Tiger.
Well, like I said, he need to let it go, bro. It's okay, Tiger. We got you, dog. We get it, man.
And real quick, to Jacob's point, one of the things, and I can't remember who said this long time ago, the way Tiger trained took years off his career too, because to Jacob's point, to Jack Nicholson was still compete. These guys weren't lifting weights and all of the crazy stuff that Tiger was doing. Tiger changed the game as far as like all of a sudden golfers wanted to be fit.
Yeah, everybody looking fit now.
The Bryson DeChambeau, all these guys is like, they were like, I gotta get in the weight room too. I want my polo to fit like that.
It used to be just who got the weirdest colors and the checkered socks and all of that, and the hat with the little ball on. But now the Tiger came and did his thing. You saw everybody just change. Even Mickelson, Mr. Lefty, he let me get in shape a little bit.
He dropped weight. He went and got in shape.
Yeah, bro. Yep. Yeah, you're right, Jacob. He did, man. And then, last but not least, Belinda Bencic, I believe, upsets Coco Gauff in the quarterfinals of the BNB Paribas Open after she took the first set. Coco took the first set. She was 6-3, but and then Belinda came back and won the next two sets. So here's the thing. Quick question, and we got to be real, y'all. We tell the truth and shame the devil on the show, right? Dog, Coco just can't get over that hump, dog. What?
She's too emotional. She is too emotional and it's all the time. When things start spiraling out the way for Coco, she loses it. And that's so crazy because she's such a good tennis player, but she can't mentally get over that unforced error, or when it go left, she let her emotions get the best of her,
right?
And it's like she can't lock back in. And I don't know if she need to see a sports psychiatrist, psychologist, or something, but she has to know that you're never going to play the perfect game. You got to overcome your mistakes, and she never can overcome her mistakes, and she ends up beating herself a lot of times. So, and that's kind of what happened right here. So, she got to get control of that thing.
How do you get control of that? How do you think she gets control of that?
Dude, she got to do it. She got to do what Jameis Winston did. She got to go. She got to get some sports therapy. She got to get through that mental block. Serena talked about it, how she used to like be in a rage, but she found peace. Coco got to find peace because we think Coco is up next. But she got to start winning these big ones. She can't win the big one.
All right, yeah, she can't win. That's a good point, Jacob. She can't win the big one, man. So shout out to Coco, man. Hopefully she gets it right. All right, man. That wraps up quick hits. Yo, let's get to this hot topic, man. And we have to talk about this. This has been hot. It happened right after we did the show. Then it elevated yesterday when Stephen A went on Gilbert Arenas show. So I should have had the video, but if y'all been living under a rock, Stephen A approached. He got approached by LeBron James at a Lakers game, and you saw LeBron. You could tell he was going off. It wasn't we don't know what he really saying, but you could tell what he was saying. You could almost read his lips from the video, which was crazy. He was very adamant, and Stephen A got on TV the next day and responded and said he was talking to his father, and I respect that, whatever. But then a few days later, he goes on this tangent and just basically like going off. So I'm gonna let you take the first stab at it. When you first saw what happened with LeBron, or he did. What was your initial thoughts or reaction to that?
The moment I saw it, I was like, he being a dad. It's being an emotional parent. Understand it. We've all been there. You got kids, you understand. But I also just felt like in that breath too, you have so much power. It's a much better way to deal with it. Not in front of all these cameras. You out there. Everybody got the camera phone now. It's 50 million. And how many people in the building at night? It's that many angles of this video that we're going to probably continuously see on loop time and time again.
Mm-hmm.
They both have enough cachet to talk to each other behind closed doors through different channels and hash it out. It was a terrible look. The optics were terrible. And then for them to, for Stephen A to get on his show and kind of still be talking about it, or anytime somebody put a microphone in his face, he still talks about it. Gentlemen, get in the room or get your publicist or whatever, because both of you got people. Y'all sit down and hash this out. Take us out the group takes. We don't want to be in this group takes. Take us out of it.
But you know what?
Unproductive.
But that's the new wave, dog. That's how they all do. Like, and it's terrible. Even rappers are doing it. Like, you see Cam, they do it all like, because that's what sells. Basically, I would never do it like that. I'm just too true to the game. I can't do that. But yeah, and so when I saw it, it was the same thing. It was like he's talking like a father. I still didn't like how he approached it, but I got it, because if you got rage, I mean, you know how that is, boy. You start seeing red, or you don't care what's going on.
You black out.
But to me, and I'm just being real, I don't know what it was. We can't say, but honestly, I felt like, and LeBron, I rock with LeBron. LeBron is my dude. You know what I'm saying? He good people. I just felt like it was a show. LeBron, it was like, let me do this. Somebody's gonna catch it.
Oh, everybody gonna catch it.
And it was a show, Initially, I'm not gonna lie, I thought Stephen A handled it well, considering I'm talking about why he was there, considering what happened. I mean, it wasn't like he was gonna swing on LeBron and nothing like that.
Right.
Like,
he understood that. No, it's a lot of people looking.
Right.
This look real crazy. Let me just listen to him, and I'll deal with it at another time. This is not a place to deal with it. It's not.
The professionalism came out.
Yeah.
With him, like he just is like, okay, and he addressed it.
He's thinking about his brand. He's thinking about he's thinking about his job. You can tell he like, Lord knows I don't want to get called into the office, even though I'm probably the most powerful person at ESPN. I still don't want to get called in the office. I don't want 3 days off from my show. So let me just listen to it, internalize it, and let me get out of here.
But you know what?
Where it go.
Shannon didn't get in trouble when he did what he did.
Yeah, Shannon also at that time wasn't Stephen A. either.
Right.
The Cat Williams interview hadn't happened yet.
Right. Right. But seriously, you're right. He and that's what I thought. He handled it well. But then for Stephen A to come back, and to me, yeah, you want to voice your opinion. I get it, bruh. Right.
It's better ways to do it. It's better ways
to do it, man. It's just like the way you handled it, because it was like you was contradicting yourself.
Yeah.
You just said, he could have called me. It would have been more civilized. He called me and we talked. You got my number. We can do this. So at that point, Stephen A, you probably should have hit up Rich Paul. You said you hit up Rich Paul. Rich Paul was like, yeah, he would. So you should have said, hey, Rich, I have him call me, dog. Let's talk this over.
Yeah, let's talk this over. But even Bron, knowing that Stephen A was gonna be at the game or whatever, I know I'm gonna see him. Let's deal with it again. It ain't like he just started saying the stuff he's been saying.
Right.
You should have been called him. If you had an issue with it, should have been called him. Mm-hmm. Call him. Y'all hash that out. Whatever. This is not one of those on-site things. Oh, it's on site. This not that. You two gentlemen are too powerful in your respective professions to have this, and it's still lingering. And you know, Stephen A. say anytime somebody stick a microphone in Stephen A. face, he's still talking.
Right.
Get on the phone, hash it out, and let's go on about our business.
Because look, the thing is, let's get to the meat of it. Like you said, he's a father. I get that. Even though, and I kind of think we can look at it both ways, because I get it. Some people are saying, for the fact we've been saying it, bruh, he's in the NBA now. He's going to get talked about. He's going to say this. We're going to say that, because we're talking about the player. Now, these idiots that's on social media doing this, nobody's whatever. But I haven't seen, I haven't heard, I don't know. I'm just saying, I haven't heard Stephen A. go out and say, you know, he's a disgrace or whatever. I haven't seen that.
Nah, me either.
No, so he, you know, and I've seen other people been saying some, you know, they talking about his game. Now, I do agree that some media analysts, it's like, all right, bro, it's too much. This dude is a kid. He's a rookie still. Like y'all acting like because he's LeBron's son that he's supposed to be great. He got picked number 55.
Yeah, but
you know a story.
But in the same breath, too, Bron, you put him in this situation. He's had to deal. Yeah, he's had to deal with being your son his whole life. But because you told us a long time ago, your dream is to play with your son. You put all this emotion, Bron.
Right.
So you got to understand. You take a lot of blame in this.
So, but that's why I feel like he's in his feelings, though, which
no doubt about it
makes it.
He's tired of hearing about it.
He's tired of hearing about it.
But it's the truth.
He put him in a situation.
Yeah.
He know his son got to take this backlash. And I think the fact that LeBron know what it's like. He's been there. LeBron is tough enough. And I'm pretty sure he's trained Bronny to be ready for it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, you still don't want you don't want to even fathom your kid getting pounded like that, you know, as far as bad, you know, talk, and he's this and he's that, and because you don't want it to go to his mental, but at the same time, he's in an arena where it's going to happen.
You know what's crazy? You know, Bronny also not 6'8", 230 walking in the NBA.
Right.
You know, Bronny is a developmental guy. Well, LeBron, you were the chosen one. You've been that guy from the start. You know, and I always felt like Bronny needed another year to. I mean, he didn't even play college basketball. Basically,
no, he didn't really. Right.
You know, if you think about it, the first year, you know, he had the heart complication, worked his way back. I mean, the guy hadn't even played enough basketball yet. Like. Right. So LeBron, a lot of this is on you, Bronny. I mean, LeBron James Sr. I mean, a lot of this on you. So
it is.
But these guys should get us out the group chat. Take this off. We shouldn't hear about this no more. Like, get in the room, hash it out, and move on.
Yeah, I wonder too. After all of this, will they talk now? Because at this point, LeBron came back and said what he said. And we know one thing about LeBron. Now, if this was Kevin Durant, oh, dog.
Oh, Kevin Durant going to keep it going.
Let's get our popcorn. That would have been the whole show today.
It'll be so many tweets right now.
Right.
It'll be a series of tweets here.
What?
He'll be wearing Stephen A. out memes, everything. But LeBron not that guy. LeBron's
not that guy. So I wonder if LeBron is going to now, since Stephen A. just said what he said, all right, let's talk like man. Let's talk. You know what I'm saying? Let's handle this, whatever. And one thing about Stephen A., I will say, first of all, Stephen A. is petty too. And what I mean by that is, if you notice, every time it's a situation with him, as far as somebody don't, if somebody don't, if they don't get along, or somebody mad at what Stephen A. said, Stephen A., he's going to first address it like, yeah, he said this, whatever. Then he's going to clap back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Always, right? Always. Yeah. And so that's Stephen A. He ain't gonna go out without a fight. Like, I'm gonna get this word in.
Yeah.
You just ain't gonna fire off on me.
He ain't gonna punk me from New York.
No, you ain't gonna punk him. Yeah. But he is the type where he will say, all right, let's settle. After I said what I said, let's settle this.
Right.
This is what I'm trying to do. This is my whole point. I'm not trying to do whatever you think I'm trying to do, or whatever it may be. Because remember, him and Durant got into it, and they used to be tight.
Yeah.
And isn't it funny how now it's kind of making sense? Remember when Ant was talking about he don't want to be the face of the league?
Yeah.
And then LeBron came back and backed him up and doubled down on it. Yeah, you don't want to because of this, and you got these media people and all of that. I wonder if he was still holding on to that part.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, of course he was. These people think they know us. They don't know us. They ain't walked the mile out there. And, at some point, the shot they love to take. He ain't never hooped. He ain't never been in the league. Mm-hmm. He don't know. Whatever, man. Get out of here with that. Both of you take us out the group chat.
You don't want to be in it.
Yeah,
you don't want to be in it.
Stop bringing us in y'all mess. We don't want no part of it. We didn't ask for this.
We didn't. We just want to play. And it's so funny how every time you see Bronny get in the game, what I do love is no matter where he is, he's getting the love from the fans at least.
Yeah.
It is overwhelming. Yeah.
He didn't ask for this. Listen, all this kid want to do is play video games, work on this game. I mean, he balling down there. Don't nobody, for as much trash y'all talked about him, he averaging 17 in the G League. I don't see nobody posting about that. So,
Right.
Negative always win. The kid is developing his game. For a guy who didn't play much college basketball, he's in the developmental stage. Let him develop. Let him develop.
Look, he's in a developmental stage of playing basketball, not even just the NBA.
That part.
He's playing basketball.
Dude, it's like a 3-4 year project.
Yeah, and I think until it gets to that point where he don't feel that pressure, because I think that's what he's dealing with. Is he's dealing with that pressure. Like every time he gets in, all right, let me hit this shot. I think he's thinking more than just playing. Because when he's G League, there's no eyes on him. Now he can ball out.
And
I mean, true enough, it's NBA players. They better, but still.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like G Leaguers are sorry. You know what I'm saying? No.
And what's this dude? 19, 20?
Yep.
Dude, come on, man. What were you guys doing at 19?
Right.
And whatever y'all was doing, we didn't know because you don't have the type of scrutiny that Bronny James has on him. I mean, the dude can't even go by his real name because the hate's so real. Bronny is not on his birth certificate.
So let me ask you, and I see you, Jacob. You're right. They tripping with that too, as far as some of Caitlin could cook them. Whatever. Let me ask you this. For real. Let me ask you this though. I know everybody gonna laugh about because it was Marcus Jordan. Who was the other Jordan? I can't think of his name. Marcus and with an A or something like that. I can't think of his name. Is it Jeffrey? No. Was it Jeffrey Jordan? What's his name? His other son. Jeffrey. Okay, Jeff.
Yeah.
Do you think they would have dealt with not even the scrutiny? I'm just saying them playing in the NBA. Because even if LeBron wasn't in the NBA, say if Bronny didn't come in and play with his father, it still would be all eyes on Bronny because it's Bronny's son. You know how it is. Do you think who you think would have it worse though? You think it still be Bronny, or do you think it would have been Marcus and Jeffrey?
It would have been Marcus and Jeff. I mean, it affected Marcus and Jeff, especially Jeff. He couldn't wait to stop playing basketball to go get a job. Think about his freshman year at Illinois, and you got to think Jeff was like, he was a state player of the year. He had a lot of these accolades.
Yeah,
and people were like, "Dude, this guy's terrible." Well, he's not gonna be his pops.
He's not gonna be Jordan.
Not gonna be his pops.
He's not gonna be Jordan.
It affected both of them. Like I say, They couldn't wait to give up basketball because they didn't even want the pressure.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, but Daddy, go get us a job though. Jeff is a high-ranking exec at Nike.
Mm-hmm.
Jasmine, she's an exec for Team Jordan, and of course Marcus, he runs a very high-end boutique Jordan store. So life great for them guys, but they didn't have to deal with screw because they got off the basketball floor as soon as possible.
Yeah, they got up quick. And it always seems like the best players, children, I don't know if because of pressure, but they won't be as good. I will say the Berry Boys, they were decent. They were, decent.
But see, they're not gonna be as hungry.
Yeah, they're not gonna be as hungry.
They're not gonna be hungry. Cam Newton says this all the time about his boys. They're naturally not gonna have the same grind that I had.
Right.
Because they look around the house.
They got everything.
It's all good. Him and his brothers, hey, daddy go to work every day. Mama go to work every day. It's some day we might eat, we might not eat. Hey, he understood that, okay, my grind is different. Chosen and all them other young fellas, name began with a C. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they work out and yeah, they play sports, but they're not gonna be the athlete that their dad was. They're probably not even gonna be the freak of nature that their dad was. He got like 5 or 6 boys. Maybe one gonna get Cam height.
Right.
Maybe.
But here's the flip side with the NBA though. The sons that played ball that probably wasn't as great, they're ballers.
Yeah, because their dads, a lot of their dads wasn't. Think about Steph. Steph dad was all right.
Yeah, he could shoot, but
think about Clay dad.
Clay right.
So they didn't have the same pressures that those guys that Bronny has.
Yeah. So who you think is the best besides Steph? Who was the best kid? Best father's kid as far as shooting. We're gonna end it with that.
Oh, the best kid basketball player?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. You say take Steph out the question, out the equation?
Yeah, Steph don't count. Yeah.
Mike Bibby definitely better than Henry Bibby. Kobe way better than Jelly Bean.
Right.
Way better. Like, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Kobe. Yeah. That's another one that was better. I'm trying to think who else, man. Because who I was interested in seeing because he didn't play well. Because he had to leave is DeJuan Wagner's son.
Yeah, but again, we talk about a guy who
because Wagner was about to be it. I think he was gonna be that dude if he didn't mess up his eye.
Yeah, but DeJuan Wagner also kind of small. He was on the small side too.
True.
Yeah, he was small and he wasn't. Well, he was a explosive guy. He wasn't AI explosive.
Right.
So we don't know. We don't know. My dad would tell you that Jalen Rose, a better overall basketball player than his pops. His pops went number 1 overall or whatever, but his pops had a lot of demons. So Jalen was able to use that as a hey, I know not to do that, and I don't even mess with my pops, so I'm gonna be better than him anyway, just because he don't fool me like that. So yeah.
Right. Well, look, man. Like I said, hopefully they get it together, man, and it's all good. All right, Jacob, appreciate you. And like I said, it's all good that they make it work. Unfortunate, man, to see our brothers doing this though. But look, we're gonna take a quick break. Hey, man, we gotta talk about this free agency, dog. Ready for this football? It's been crazy, Mace. Been crazy, dog. I can't wait to talk about it, man.
Let's do it.
Definitely want your opinions, man. So, all right, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Have a sports injury? Need to see an orthopedic doctor? Ortho Atlanta is one of Metro Atlanta's largest orthopedic and sports medicine practices, providing orthopedic and sports medicine care for the whole family. With 37 physicians and 14 offices, the practice provides the highest level of care for injury of muscles, joints, bones, and spine. Ortho Atlanta offers convenient access to a full range of musculoskeletal surgeons and specialists. Ortho Atlanta also offers on-site physical therapy, pain management care, MRI imaging, and workers' compensation care. The Ortho Atlanta surgery centers in Austell and Fayetteville provide cost-effective, same-day surgical procedures in an accredited outpatient center. Hip, knee, shoulder, back pain? Ortho Atlanta has you covered with specialists in all areas. Same-day appointments, orthopedic care for the whole family. Ortho Atlanta, Atlanta's choice for orthopedic and sports medicine care. Learn more at www.orthoatlanta.com.
Hey, this is Earl Campbell.
Hey, it's Chuck the Iceman Liddell.
This is Emmett Smith, and you're listening to 3 Point Conversion.
All right, we are back inside the 3 Point Conversion Sports Lounge. First off, man, I definitely want to ask you, with everything that's going on with the Falcons so far, they lose Grady Jarrett, they lose Dahlman. What's your biggest takeaway from this?
Strapped for cash. The Kirk Cousins signing looks even worse today. That's money. That's money gone. You had to move Grady because you got to get under this cap. You got to free up some money to try to do something to get your. And right now, it's not about getting your fan base excited because everybody just got the letter in the mail. The ticket price is going up. Deal with that. But you're looking at I say this all the time. It's a difference between winning organizations and organizations who are always just, trying to find their way, always trying to change the philosophy. So, they've been here before. Here they are again in kind of salary cap hell. So, it's on Terry. We're going to find out what type of guy Terry Fontenot is right now. He got some work to do. Because
the fact that he came out and said, all right, yeah, we would like to keep Kirk Cousins, as a young folk saying, what do you think he was that cap, or was he just or do you think that's really what he wanted? And
if you look at the roster, you don't have a backup quarterback. If you look out there on the landscape, really, who's out there? Mm-hmm. And yeah, you would hope to move Kirk Cousins. You would hope that somebody would take on some of that contract with you as you move on from him. But you may be stuck with him, which again goes back to signing this guy was like, why? Why? You talking about bad money spent.
And they need to do a 30 for 30 for this. Because I want to know what happened because remember, we heard a lot of dissension, like they weren't, it was coming out like they all weren't in agreement with everything that was going on.
All this stuff always comes out. It always eventually comes out. Rob wanted a vet. Everybody wanted a rookie. But again, if at some point, and even though it was later on in the process where they fell in love with Penix, the money was already spent on Kirk Cousins, and just a terrible move. But again, a move by organization that's known to, front office wise, it's not known as a good front office. So, are you really surprised that the Falcons are in this situation right now? Are you?
Because, like I told you, I still feel like Terry Fontenot, after the draft, before the draft started, he went to he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna call y'all back. Hey, I'll be right back, y'all. Let me go use the bathroom." Right before the draft, and he called his boy, and he was like, "Okay, hey, dog, I don't care what y'all say. I'm about to draft this nigga." I just feel like he said,
I don't care what nobody say.
I feel like he said it. I don't care what they say, dog. I'm drafting Penix.
And that's why he went over in the corner and started talking to Arthur Blank. Hey, look, the reason why I did it, don't be mad at me, Arthur. But the reason why I did this, pig. And now he probably be sending a text to Arthur now. See why I did it? See why I did it?
Right. Now I look good.
But no, you don't, because we're still saddled with the contract of Kirk Cousins.
Bruh, and shout out to Arthur Blank. Arthur looked like he looked just like how when he was talking at the up there at where was Flowery Branch, and he was talking about it, and that joker looked just like Godfather. He was like, y'all came together, we talked about it, and we came to an agreement. And you could read between the lines, like he was saying, basically, we all like we didn't agree at first. We didn't like it, but we came to agreement. All right, well, this is what we're gonna do. I mean, that's how I seen, bro. Like you could read between the lines. And the crazy part was, personally, the whole time he was talking, he kept looking at me. Like he was staring at me the whole time. You know, like somebody, sometimes they teach you that you always somebody that you could just focus on and whatever. Bruh, he stayed looking at me. So I'm like, hey, what do you I couldn't make no I couldn't make anything, you know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't make no faces. I wanted to, like, what? But I'm just like, look, all I can do is this, Mace. I'm just nodding my head.
I feel you. Looking at him, I feel you.
You're right.
I feel you. I ain't gonna hold you. Go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, but either or, man. Let's do this real quick before we jump to football, because I think I just got word that we're gonna switch it up. We're gonna have I think Steve was coming later on.
Okay.
I want to do this. We're gonna go ahead. We had a segment called 5 Questions. And the 5 questions are, what if you had to talk to an athlete, dead or alive, I don't care who it is, as long as it's an athlete, and you had to sit them by yourself in a room just to ask 5 questions, what would you ask them? And Mace, I'm gonna let you go first.
Yeah, so my interview was gonna be with one Muhammad Ali.
Oh, okay.
Ali probably still one of my favorite athletes ever. And he just stood for so much. And he was just one of these guys, when we look at like history, to be labeled the greatest. And nobody disputes it pretty much, that says a lot. When your peers, for much trash you talk in the profession that he's in, for everybody to acknowledge, yeah, like he was that guy.
Right.
He was that guy.
Right. He was.
Yeah. And so for me, my very first question, and the beauty of him not only being an athlete, but he was like a social activist. And so one of my first questions for Muhammad Ali would always be, why did you feel like it was so important to put your name in like that political realm when you could have just stayed over here to the side and just been fighter Muhammad Ali?
Right.
Why was it so important for you to be so upfront on the front line of so many social issues? Because he didn't have to.
Right.
And we know we in a time where, guys don't like to blur the line.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of those guys that, hey, he was there. He was on the front line with everybody making a change for our community. Definitely my first question for him.
So just ask him why he had to be on the first line. I'm with you on that.
Why did you do that when you didn't have to?
Right. I'm with you. What's the next question?
So my second question being for Muhammad Ali. Now that I've so I was always enamored with Kevin Hart them brought the Kaya Heights robbery to light, and it happened during the time when Muhammad Ali was fighting here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name of the show, but it's the one that Kevin Hart, Sam.
Was it Fight Night or something?
Fight Night.
So
my second question for Muhammad Ali would be like, why Atlanta for the fight? In a time where it's you know, I think it was like 78. Atlanta wasn't the place to be for no boxing match.
Right.
New York, Vegas, Jersey, you know, Atlantic City. Why Atlanta? Because quietly, that was like a very big time. That's one of the first big time events that we had in Atlanta. So I would definitely want to know that from Muhammad Ali. Definitely want to know that. That would be my second question for the GOAT, the greatest of all time.
I'm with you. Okay.
Third, as a individual, I have an uncle who's Muslim, and with all of the Muslim discipline, he was enjoying life as Cassius Clay. We all know. Gotta ask Muhammad Ali, why did you decide to convert to Muslim? Why did you become? You voyaged to Mecca? You know, why did you convert to Islam?
Because nobody never really talk about that. Go ahead. I'm with you.
You know, and you know, we get all these way, you know, he did it because he wanted to, you know, do this. And we don't have the answer. We definitely want to while we, because at this point of the conversation, because I know he done probably gave me a lot because you know he's a talker. So I'm gonna be sipping my you know, my gentleman drink. Like, keep going, Muhammad. Keep going, Muhammad. Keep going. My fourth question for him, and so we're doing this based on he's still sound mind and body.
Right.
Did he envision the success for his daughter that she achieved in the boxing ring? Because she carried the name well.
She did.
For a good little minute.
She sure did, yeah.
In the boxing ring, and it was just crazy because we always hear about, you know, DNA, apple don't fall far from the tree, all these things. She really committed to it, and she got it done. So that would be question number 4. And then number 5, because you got to add a little lightheartedness to the conversation. We know he had a lot of wives. We know he married a few times. I just had to ask him because again, at this time, he was that dude. Cassius, Muhammad, whatever you want to be called. Were you putting up Wilt Chamberlain numbers during your day? I want to know,
bruh.
Because this dude he forever talked about how pretty he was and how everybody loved him, and it was like nowhere he couldn't go. And you know, to hear my uncles talk about him, my dad talk about him, and you know, y'all had to ask your aunties, and all your aunties talk about just how adorable he was. I remember so one of my cousins, Ivy was a Soul Train dancer.
Okay.
So she lived in California. So Soul Train had a little period where they kind of traveled. They took the show around.
Yeah, I remember that. I heard about that. I mean, yeah.
They got to meet Muhammad Ali. And now she done told us a million stories. All I can remember, and it's so crazy. I don't know why I'm like this. All I can remember, she was like, the ladies were just falling out. As soon as he jumped out of the van, all the ladies were falling out. All the ladies falling out. Say dudes were falling out too, but all the ladies were falling out because it was Muhammad Ali.
Hey.
I just got to know, did he put up Wilt Chamberlain numbers? Because I got to add one of them kind of questions. So those are my 5 questions for the great Muhammad Ali.
Hey, because you know that that was the first person I heard. That was the first time I ever heard the term womanizer when I was younger. They were telling Muhammad Ali, and I'm like, what's that? I didn't know what that was. Somebody was like, he's a womanizer. I'm like, what is that? Like, yeah, dog, that's a great question, dog. A great question.
I just gotta know, man. I gotta know, man. Hey, man, what them stats?
What's some stats looking like?
What them stats were looking like?
All right. So the person I'm asking, I'm sitting down, dead or alive. I'm sitting down, ask questions, 5 questions to is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Another goat. Another goat. A goat. Yeah.
So my first question is, I don't know if y'all noticed. I just found this out. So Kareem, in 1969, you had considered transferring to Michigan because of unfulfilled recruiting promises.
Early NIL.
Yeah, but you end up staying. After teammate Willie, I think it's Willie Nollis or something like that, introduced you to an athletic booster, Sam Gilbert. What did they promise you?
The bag.
And then how much did the booster? What did the booster do to convince you to stay?
The bag.
I just gotta know. I gotta know. That's what I would ask.
AKA the bag.
I have to ask him that. Next question I would ask. In 1968, you decided not to play in the Olympics and protest due to probably, winning a gold medal, but then coming back and getting treated like underprivileged, like you were nothing. You know how they were treating us back then, because you were black. What was the backlash like when you decided not to try out for the Olympic team? And then, if you had decided to go, would you have done a protest as well with the other Black Olympians that year?
Ooh.
I would want to know it. I would have to ask Kareem that. I would want to know that.
Yeah.
Third question I want to know about Kareem. In 1974, the 75 season, when he was with the Milwaukee Bucks, he asked for a trade. He secretly went and I want to get traded. The 3 teams were in order: the New York Knicks, at that time, the Baltimore Bullets, and the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah.
Do you ever wonder if you would have went to New York, could you have won multiple chips with Clyde Frazier? And even if would he have stayed because you were there?
Yeah.
Playing with Clyde, Phil Jackson, all of them. And then would you still be named the greatest player of all time because of that versus playing with Magic and going to the LA?
You know what's crazy about that? Now that I think about it, and I've never really thought about that. He played his college ball in LA. Now he in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Get me out of here.
He said he didn't want to be there. He didn't want to be there.
Yeah, what I'm saying. The dude did play college ball at UCLA. He was out there at Redondo Beach, and he was in all the stuff. Ain't no beaches in Milwaukee.
Right. So
get me out of here.
Yeah. So he said, and here's what he said. He said I couldn't get to the. He's like, I just didn't feel comfortable. It wasn't for me to Midwest. That's what he said. Okay, last 2, because we got somebody in the. I don't know who we got in the green room. Somebody in the green room, but but anyway, we the last question, or the second last question, the 4th question. After you change your name to a Muslim, after you changed to being a Muslim and you changed your name to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you was a Muslim now, and you divorced your first wife, you started dating, a white woman, and you had a child with her. I got to be truth. I got to know this, Kareem. Did you ever get clowned for that? And at one point, and then also, was you at the point like, what am I doing? Or was it like, hey, this is my choice and I'm sticking with it. Yeah, I know I'm a Muslim. And I know he was a nation of Islam. Right. Yeah. He wasn't that, but still, you know what I'm saying? Because he was Black Power and all of that. And then I also wondered if and when he watched I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, did he think that they were they making fun of him? Remember that scene when he was with the lady when when Keenan went to the guy who was like Bean Pie, my brother.
Right.
And remember, his whole family he had a white son, a white wife. I wonder if he took that offense or he thought like, yo, are they talking about me? I don't know. I just always wondered that. I just wondered that.
Yeah.
And then the last question I want to know is, in '98, he sued the running back for the Miami Dolphins, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They reached a settlement, and he ended up changing his name, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, changed the spelling of his name.
He changed the spelling of his name, and on his back of his name, it was just Abdul. That's it.
Yeah.
But my question is, and what I want to know is, when he did that, was it because of you felt like he was just making a profit and that's it? Was it the fact that you was really like, this kid is trying to beat me? He come from UCLA. He wore the number 33.
Right. Name him.
You have my name. Yeah. So was it more of like, look, this kid is trying to be me, trying to use my name to make money, or was it just the fact that you was like, I don't want nobody to have my name?
Name him, likeness, my brother.
And I'm not gonna lie, at that point, I always wanted to know that when I was watching football, when we was watching Miami Dolphins, and I remember that, I didn't understand the politics back then. Yeah. But when I heard that, I'm looking like, first it was like, why is Kareem hating? But then, like you said, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. A lot of sense, the fact that somebody's using my name, image, likeness, like you said, use it for money and getting money and all of that. Yeah. So those would be my questions to Kareem. Like I said, it's me and Kareem in the room. Nobody else.
Question. You know, Kareem gonna offer you a doobie. Y'all gonna smoke. You gonna smoke. You and Kareem, you gonna smoke. Yeah.
But I just want to ask Kareem, because he was, like I say, very intelligent. And I love the way he handled things. I love the way he looked at, even though people looked at him as weird, he just had his own way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was just his way of doing things. He always looked at it. He made sure it wasn't just, this is what I think. That's it. No, he studied it. You know what I'm saying? And I think if y'all study him, man, he's very enlightening. One of the greats.
No doubt about it. Go read his book. Go read his book.
Read his book. Yeah, read his book. All right, man. We got a special guest, man, and
this is my homeboy. I'm claiming him. He worked in Atlanta. We claim he got a W-2 in Atlanta. We claiming him.
Hey, and I'm gonna tell you all, you know how, like, and I'm gonna give flowers, man, but you know how, like, when you watch somebody, from afar, whether it's TV or whatever, you just, that's a good guy. When I met this, I'm gonna say young man. When I met this young man,
yeah,
he was so gracious, and not even the fact that he was just like, all right, I'll make time for you, but he just made you feel like, hey man, we're media, we're cool. We talk, we laugh. He always standing down on 10 toes and telling the truth, and
because he got a W-2 in Atlanta. He spent time in Atlanta.
That's Atlanta.
Atlanta in him.
I gotta bring in NFL Network analyst, my guy, Mr. Steve Wyche. What's going on, sir?
What up, man? I heard that previous conversation. I covered Kareem, Karim.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Jabbar, who was drafted by Jimmy Johnson back when I was Dolphins for the Miami Herald back in the day.
Right. Yeah. I remember that.
Man, good dude. He said his imam gave him that name when he was at UCLA. And he was like, "Are you sure? Is this cool? I don't know." He's like, "Yes, I'm your imam. You're the next purveyor of the Abdul-Jabbar." So that was kind of the story he was saying at the time.
And see, I really want to know if Kareem, the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I wonder if he knew that. I really wonder if he knew that.
He might have, but I mean, I'm sure when you see Abdul-Jabbar,
yeah,
he's like, look, when there's licensing and merchandise being sold, people think it's me, not you.
Right.
And football player Kareem was such a humble dude. He wasn't like he felt kind of awkward, I guess, when it first happened. But I mean, that was who he was. He was a devout Muslim. He was going through everything he had to go through during the day after practices and whatnot, doing his prayers and living his devout lifestyle. So,
wow.
I don't know the full story of how it went down between those two, but I do know when I covered Kareem, the football player in Miami, he was a good player and just an absolutely humble devout dude.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, that's what's up. Go ahead, Mace. You got to ask him.
Steve, I gotta ask you this because you got ATL ties. So you belong to us. You got a W-2. You worked at the AJC. While you were in Atlanta, what was your favorite spot to kick it?
Man, I had kids. I wasn't like really kicking it. I lived out in the county. It wasn't like I was going out and hanging out. And,
No, we know you weren't doing that.
No. Well, so because all my kids were in high school and stuff. But so like after the football games and stuff, we go to a spot called Cuernavaca. It was a Mexican joint, up in Lawrenceville, where they had like these frosted daiquiris. They were red and yellow. So us parents would sit up there and drink the daiquiris after the game, talk about why we won or why we lost. And then we, after a couple of pitchers of daiquiri, we talk about whatever was in the mood.
Why coach called that play?
Right.
No. We weren't getting on the coaches. We were winning. Our teams were successful. So
what high school?
They graduated from Archer High School.
Oh yeah. You was in a great program. You was.
Yeah, our first son was with the original football team that came up. So they were the ones who laid the groundwork for all those monsters who started coming after.
When the school first opened. Okay.
Yeah. So
nice.
We didn't do anything too crazy. Most of the stuff was happening at Casa Wyche. I don't want business on the streets. The streets come to the crib.
Hey, I hear you. I hear you, man. Love it. Hey, so Steve, I got to ask you. Free agency. It's been dynamic this year. Dynamic every year, but this year has been like, wow. What teams have impressed you the most during this free agency?
It's weird, man. I mean, I've got to say Washington, because they seem to be going for it, right? They made the trade for Laramie Tunsil. They made the trade for Deebo Samuel. They re-signed Bobby. So it's kind of like these guys weren't placeholders. These veterans last year weren't placeholders. These are dudes. We saw how close we feel we are. So now you get a guy named, you get Laramie Tunsil. And what's interesting with that trade is Adam Peters, Washington's GM, was the assistant GM in San Francisco when they made the trade for Trent Williams. So let's go ahead and get our left tackle in place. And even if we have to get him a new deal, then we can start lopping off some of these short-term contracts before or after we've got to pay our quarterback who's on a rookie deal right now. So you could see the salary cap management wheels turning by them making some of these deals. Like Debo's probably a 2-year keeper for Washington, but I like some of the things they've done. You know who has quietly made with just a handful of moves is the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I was saying that.
So they go out and they sign Evan Ingram, who's a perfect fit for what Sean Payton does. Think every tight end who touched Sean Payton's huddle
success
got down. Jimmy Graham, Jeremy Shockey.
Yeah.
Benjamin Watson.
Yes,
right.
Indeed.
Career high. He was 12 years in, had career highs in numbers when he played. So Evan Ingram's a little different. He's a little bit more of a flex. He's a little bit more of a Jimmy Graham. But tight ends are monster producers in this offense, especially in the red zone. Then defensively, they go out and they take 2 Niners. Ray Greenlaw, who you talk to anybody up there, is like that dude, right? He's like the real G.
Yeah.
Of what they did with San Francisco, and Talanoa Hufanga, who was an all-pro before some injuries, kind of set him back. So if those dudes stay healthy, like it wasn't like Denver's defense was easy last year. I mean, they were getting at the quarterback. They were putting helmets on people. Now these are the type of dudes right here, where if you come across the middle, you're gonna lose. You better have a good dental plan. You're gonna lose. So I kind of like some of the things that Denver's done with some of the small acquisitions that they've made to fit some of the pieces they had in place and what Sean Payton wants to do.
Steve, help me out with this one. I have a theory, and I just want you to see if you feel my theory. Justin Fields was rewarded simply because the way he handled his departure in Chicago, didn't make any noise. His benching in Pittsburgh, they were winning. He gets replaced, didn't make a fuss. Russ started playing bad late down stretch. Never said a word. I feel that he was basically rewarded for just really being a great guy. And he's going to a situation where it's probably going to work out with him because he has this guy, Garrett Wilson, up there in New York as well.
Well, let me tell you this, how guys getting rewarded, they don't get rewarded for being good people, because otherwise it'd be a whole bunch of billionaires in pro athletics. how you handle your benchings and stuff like that have nothing to do with a coach GM trying to especially when they're new. No, he got rewarded because, think about this. Who's his head coach now? With the Jets. Aaron Glenn.
Yeah.
Right? Who did he play against for several years in the NFC North?
In Detroit.
Detroit
when Aaron Glenn was a defensive coordinator. So Aaron Glenn had to scheme up ways to
stop him.
So he knows the strengths and weaknesses of Justin Fields because he had to scheme up ways to stop him. And Justin Fields has had some good games against Aaron Glenn. I think that's part of it. It's a deal that they can get out of after a year, right? But Justin Fields is going to get his 20-30 million.
Right.
Which is still a very affordable contract when it comes to starting quarterbacks in the NFL.
Exactly.
So I think they see some promise in him. They can do some RPO type stuff with Breece Hall. He played with Garrett Wilson, like you said, at Ohio State. And they've got the type of defense. You look at some of the moves they made, they got the type of defense that can hold things down and take the ball with Sauce Gardner, right? They lose J.R. Reed, but they've got Sauce Gardner and some other guys who can get the ball away. So look, there's going to be some inconsistencies. There's going to be some highs and lows with Justin Fields. That's just who he is. By a guy's third year in the league, he is who he is, especially if he's was the same way in college.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. So, but they've got an opportunity to be a problem with him. Again, the inconsistencies are going to be crazy, but to get to your point a little bit, it's not so much how he handled his departures and benchings and all that. He handled the major media market in Chicago quite well.
Mm-hmm.
So coming to the Jets and knowing how they're going to be blowtorched in the second and how he handles that.
Right.
I think that's something you have to take into account when you play in that market.
So to kind of stick with that, I guess that situation, let's go to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They running out of options. Like, Steve, what's going on? Like, you would have thought, especially the fact that they get DK Metcalf.
Yep.
It's like, all right, this is a dream for a quarterback right now. I mean, true enough, you still got a young, what's my guy name?
George Pickens.
George Pickens, still trying to mature, whatever. But still, you have some talent there. Still got the tight end, Frymouth and everything. But it's like nobody wants to go there. So when he left, when Justin decided to go to the Jets, now you're thinking, okay, maybe Russ will stay. But Russ is all of a sudden saying he has a new list that he's going to visit these teams. Sam Darnold signed somewhere else. I mean, right now, only people you got right now, I can't think of nobody else, is maybe Aaron Rodgers. And what you think is going to happen, and why you think is happening like this for Pittsburgh?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's anything that they did. I think they made a play for Justin Fields. It's just that the Jets made a stronger play. Plus, the Jets haven't benched him before. The Steelers have.
Yep, that's
okay.
Right.
So he was like, okay, let me just try this fresh new start. See what I can do in New York. And with Russ is at the point in his career where he's the just in case guy, right? Russ, if they wanted to keep Russ, they would have kept Russ. He loved it there. He's publicly said he wants to stay in Pittsburgh. So if he was their first option, they would have go ahead and handle that. But they haven't. So Russ is going to visit Cleveland. He's going to visit the Giants. But again, he's now the just in case guy.
Wow.
Right. So if Aaron Rodgers decides he wants to play, does he want to play for the Giants? Does he want to play for the Steelers? Okay. Wherever he doesn't go, Russ is there just in case. And let's just say that Aaron Rodgers dragged this out till after the draft. Because remember, the Giants get the third pick.
Right.
Giants could take Shedeur or Cam Ward or make a trade up to get to one if that's what it takes. The Browns have the number 2 pick. They can take Shedeur or Cam Ward. Russ is there just in case. And that's what I'm saying. So that's why I call him the just in case guy. And so, but for the Steelers as a whole, they got to figure it out because they aren't picking second and third. So are you going to trade up and get one of these guys? Are you going to have Jameis Winston there in case Aaron Rodgers says, I'm going to retire? Are you Joe Flacco mode? Suppose Russ goes someplace else. Pittsburgh's in a very precarious situation. Now, the people in that building, Omar Khan, those guys are smart enough to have someone there just in case. But it ain't going to be their first option if it's not Aaron Rodgers.
Wow.
And, if it is Aaron Rodgers, you got to deal with a 41-year-old guy who played better at the end of last season, but who brings with him some stuff. Yeah. Now, Mike Tomlin can handle it. That's the one thing about coming to Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers is not going to be the guy. Nobody, no individual player is bigger than that organization.
Right.
You will get checked very quickly if you try to be bigger than that organization.
Whew.
Yeah.
Steve, help me out with this one over in Indianapolis. They signed Daniel Jones.
Yep.
So are they basically saying the Anthony Richardson experiment is over, or are they both going to compete to be QB1? What's going on over there in Indy?
Well, they didn't just sign Daniel Jones. They signed him to a $14 million contract. Again,
right.
It's affordable, but it's a very expensive backup quarterback contract.
Yeah.
It's probably more than what Anthony Richardson is making on a rookie deal.
On his rookie deal, right.
So what they're saying is, Anthony Richardson, if you don't get it together, we got someone who's going to take your spot, right? So last year, after Anthony Richardson comes back, after the injury, his rookie year, you hear some stuff, the coach, people saying that he's got to do some stuff to learn to be a pro. So what do? They bring in Joe Flacco.
Right.
Veteran player, played in the Super Bowl, MVP of the Super Bowl. Let's show him how to be a pro. Well, what does Anthony Richardson do after a play?
He tap out.
Come out. Hey, man, that's not being a pro, man. That lost him a lot of points in that locker room. And you got pros in that locker room. You got Zaire Franklin. You got DeForest Buckner.
Right.
You got those dudes on that offensive line trying to protect you. Those guys are pros. Those dudes are putting food on their table to feed their families. And you're talking about this because you think you got time? It doesn't work like that in a locker room. And so the head coach and the general manager, who will be blown out if they lose again this year, are like, we got to get somebody in here. So in case Anthony's not reliable, we got to get somebody in here who we can trust. So I think it's going to be an absolute competition in training camp. And if the presence of a pro like Joe Flacco didn't get your attention, right, which I do think it did to some degree, because Anthony Richardson did play better towards the back part of the season. We got someone who's just almost as young as you. Danny Jones is 27, 28 years old.
Right.
Right. He's taken his bumps and bruises playing that New York market. We got somebody who, we lost with you, we can lose without you. Right. So this is someone who, and I think both of them will rise up. I think both of them will compete, because this is an opportunity for Daniel Jones to build his career back, to be the next Sam Darnold. Right. So somebody who can compete and someone who can get the best out of you, may the best man win, and I'm all for it.
Oh, no,
I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm all for it too. I'm with you. Just a few more, because know you're busy, man, but I definitely have to ask you about Cleveland's situation.
Yeah.
So intriguing, because right now, the situation with, they traded for Kenny Pickett.
Yep.
And like you were saying, just in case guy, who's played in the league. We don't know what's going on with Deshaun. They restructured his contract. They have number 2 pick,
yep,
I believe. So do you think they can actually draft a quarterback, or they will draft a quarterback in this situation? Or is it because they don't have Nick Chubb yet, they hadn't signed him yet, or he hadn't signed anywhere, so we don't know if he's coming back or not? Or are they going to go with a running back, which would be too high, but some people say, but still, or you go with DN? Like, where do you see Cleveland going with this?
They've got this. Now, this is where I think they do have a little bit. This is where the quarter game is important, because Kenny Pickett's the only quarterback on the roster, right? He's it. They're not going to run it back with Jameis. They could. This is where Jameis is kind of a just in case. Maybe they could with Russ. Do not, and you can call me crazy, do not rule this out, that they make a play for Kirk Cousins. Because the Falcons are not going to cut Kirk Cousins.
Right.
They're not going to cut. Why would they? They could trade him at any point. They could pay him that $10 million bonus, and everyone's just like, oh, man, they're going to cut. They don't care about that.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
They don't care about that, because guess what? If you trade him, the other team could pick up at least part of the contract. So that $10 million is a wash. So they can hang on to Kirk Cousins through the draft. They can hang on to him in the mini camp. And if Cleveland doesn't have a quarterback, if Cleveland decides to go with Abdul Carter or go with somebody in the draft at the number 2 pick and they don't have a quarterback, guess what? Cleveland might say, you know what, Atlanta, we'll give you a 5th-round draft pick for next year, and we'll pick up half of Kirk's contract or 2/3 of Kirk's contract. That could happen at a couple places. So for everyone who's just like, oh, Atlanta's going to cut him and then Kirk Cousins can sign anywhere, no. And if Kirk's got a no-trade clause, he dare. With the character he supposedly has, you think he dares say, you know what? I don't want to go to Cleveland. I'll be the backup. That's all you need to know about him.
Wait.
Ralph,
would you
ask
say
him the question? Ask him the other question. Ask him the Deshaun question. You trying to get around it? Ask the Deshaun question.
Do you think Deshaun is done? You think Cleveland's done with Deshaun?
Remember, he's got the Achilles. He's not playing this season. He retore his Achilles.
That's right.
He was probably not going to be back the middle of the way through the season anyway. And remember, about a month or so ago, he had a setback in his rehab where he retore. Right. So physically, he's going to miss, unless he has miraculous healing, he's going to miss almost the entire season anyway. So they've got to have somebody in it. Medically, he's not going to be there.
Right.
So
and they want somebody in there anyway with everything else that's happening. He's going to get paid. The money's guaranteed.
So what about Pittsburgh? I mean, now because I'm just thinking, I don't know why I think about this.
Maybe Pittsburgh gets in. Maybe Pittsburgh gets into the Kirk Cousins deal, but they already gave up some freight to get DK Metcalf.
Right.
But if they wait until after the draft, then those picks are for future years. So there you have it. So that's what I'm saying. I think one of these teams is going to be in a position. Now, Pittsburgh's a playoff team, right?
Right.
Unless they're out of quarterback options. You think they're going to say, okay, we're going to get this done with Joe Flacco. We're going to get this done with Jameis Winston. We're going to get this done with Carson Wentz. No. Here with Justin Fields and Russ.
Right.
So let's go ahead and try and get this done with Kirk Cousins. So again, there's going to be a team out there, and don't let Aaron Rodgers say, I'm going to retire.
Oh,
because then that all of a sudden that pulls
one out the pot.
Correct. So again, that's why I think Atlanta has played this beautifully by saying they're not going to cut Kirk Cousins because they're eventually should be a trade partner. I'm not saying it's going 100% going to happen, but I think they will, and I think Kirk Cousins will waive his no trade clause. Especially if it goes through the draft.
Steve, I got to ask you this Travis Hunter question because you were a two-way guy when you played ball.
I didn't play. I'm not the Heisman Trophy.
No, you understand it. How difficult? Because anytime somebody asks Travis, he's like, "I want to do both. I want to do both." And at the combine, he kind of reiterated the same thing. Do you think he understands how difficult it's going to be able to try to play two ways in the NFL? And would a team even allow him to try to do it?
I think he understands how difficult it is, and I think he's saying that because different teams have different needs, right? So what are the New England Patriots, who I think are picking 4?
Well,
okay, what'd they just do? They've got Christian Gonzalez in one corner. They just went out and drafted or signed Carlton from Detroit, the corner.
Right.
Right, Carlton D. So they've got corners, but maybe they like him as a wide receiver because you got to give targets for Drake May, right?
Yeah.
But suppose somebody else has their wide receivers
and
likes him as a corner.
Yeah,
right. So suppose the Cleveland Browns like him as a corner to be opposite of Denzel Ward.
Right.
Well, why wouldn't you flip him? Why wouldn't you give him 6 or 7 plays at wide receiver? Because even sometimes you can use him as a dummy, but everyone's got to be like, okay, he's in there.
They're going to keep eyes on him. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So he's going to adjust your coverages. So I think a smart team would use him on both sides of the ball, but the physical toll it takes to do this in the NFL at both positions, there's no way he could do it full time. I mean, he's cutting his career short. He wouldn't get to a second contract.
Right.
Because as corners, you got to force runs, right? You got to come up, take on pulling guards, and you got to take on, Pat Ricard, pulling out of the backfield out of the Baltimore. So that's a lot, but he's special. I mean, and the one thing you really like, if you've ever met him, I've met him. He still doesn't have his grown man
Oh no,
No.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. Still in the college body. Yeah,
He hadn't been in the weight room. He hadn't hit that grown man yet.
right.
So once he does, I mean, what we've seen right now is still a young man, 19, 20-year-old young man,
Right.
that adult puberty strength yet.
Yeah.
So he can have something real special.
Well, Steve, man, we definitely appreciate you for coming on. We got to do this again.
Anytime, man. Anything for you brothers, man. I'm all about uplifting, especially the brothers. So let's go ahead and do this.
Yes, sir. All right. NFL Network.
Atlanta, he belongs to us, Atlanta. We claim
Atlanta.
him.
Yeah, right.
We got a W2 in Atlanta. We claim him.
Hey, Atlanta, I'm your just in case guy.
Look, hey, before I let him go, I could just imagine. Steve, was D-Led with AJC then?
Yeah, D-Led's my man.
I could just imagine, that's like my mentor. So yeah,
hey, if you want to really go hard, me and D-Led, okay, we both covered the NBA together. He was in Milwaukee back when he was doing a lot of stuff with the Bulls, and the Bulls were going to the playoffs every year. So me and D-Led, remember, we go back to Howard. D-Led was there right before me at Howard. That is my ace all the way. All the way. So we can come up, we can do a whole show talking D-Led story.
He did. I done heard some stories already. So yeah, D-Led, my guy. That's my guy, man. Shout out to D-Led. But hey, Steve, we appreciate you, man.
We appreciate you, Steve.
And, can't wait to have you back, man. All right. Man, that was pretty dope, man. Yeah, D-Led, that's my guy.
You know what's crazy? And I always hate to do this. And I try to get people to understand, like, a lot of times, when we post stuff, like, we're not just throwing stuff out the window like a lot of people do. See, a lot of people can just get on their phone and type without, they don't have no worries.
Right.
And because we talk to the people we talk to, or we in the rooms that we're in,
right,
we have to be careful. So when we post it, know that it's we took it down through the before we made the post. It's not like so many people, and it always hurt me. I see people probably like, it's just not like that. Ain't how it works.
Yeah,
that's just not true. So when I've been basically keep telling everybody, listen, Kirk Cousins ain't going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Falcons are gonna use that chip because we say it's a quarterback league. Everybody's gonna need a quarterback, and when you have a guy who's capable, whenever you have a guy who can come in and just not mess it up, that's gonna give you a chance to win when everything is going right with his, health wise, all these things. That guy is valuable.
But that's why I said everything. That's why I've been saying everything worked out. Even though people are looking like it was dumb. They should have done this. Everything worked out the way it needed to work out because Kirk showed that he still can play.
Yeah.
Now you got a situation. It might be the injury, but then you get to this young quarterback that's good. Then Terry, which I never thought of him saying it because of that, but Terry, like he said, hey, we're going to keep him. We're not cutting. We're going to keep him as a quarterback. Now you're going to have people, let's reach out just for some, just in case, like what we see what's going on in Pittsburgh. Like, dog, I don't know if Vince still watching, but y'all ever play, okay, there it is. You ever play, like you drafting in fantasy football and you get to the point where it's your pick and you don't know who to pick. And then next thing you know, you get nervous, you panic, and you just grab anybody. And it's like, dude, what was you doing? That's what the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing right now. They're panicking.
They playing Russian roulette, big dog.
Yeah, they're panicking. They're panicking. They're about to make a dumb pick right now, or because they're panicking, and they're gonna have to go to Atlanta, which I would. Why not? You know what I'm saying? I know Kirk probably want to play in the dome, but for the most part, Kirk is it's a winning team.
Kirk about that bag, man.
Yeah.
As everybody keeps like, you can't stress enough. You about to, and see, this is the thing that you always have to remember about quarterbacks. quarterbacks are always gonna get overdrafted, and quarterbacks are always gonna get overpaid.
Right.
It's the nature of the position.
Right.
It just is. And when you have a guy, when you land on a guy, and like I say, when I was thinking about Indy, just think about that division right now. It's gonna probably be Daniel Jones, CJ Stroud, Trevor Lawrence. Come on, man.
Yeah. So
Houston got to be somewhere smiling.
Right. And that's like I said, it's and we can keep going. We'll probably keep going. You know, we got to bring in family. You know, we got family.
Let's bring in our guy. Let's bring in our guy. Who his organization, by the way, is winning in the offseason.
Hey, you are brother. You are
brother. I don't know what you're talking about. You are
right, I know, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. But look, nobody else know what he's talking about, but he know what he's talking about. But
yeah,
we gotta bring in
different.
Right, for real. We gotta bring in our guy, family. We got family in the building.
That's our family.
Our cousin, orthopedic for Ortho Atlanta. You know, we played a commercial already, y'all. So we gotta bring him in. Dr. Donald Fowler III. What's going on, Doc?
How you doing, fellas? Good to see you.
We're good, man. We're good. How's everything going? Second, Dad is about to have another one. You doing? Everything's going good?
Yeah, as of now, we're good, healthy. We'll obviously see come August how we're doing, but yeah, so far so good.
Quick question: Is wife, mom looking?
She's in the room around the corner, so she can probably hear me talking, but she's not like
she can't. Okay,
she's not in visual shot.
Can she hear us talking?
She can. Can you hear us talking? Yeah, she said, yeah. What are you about to say?
No, I was going to say hello.
They're just saying hello. She says hello back, and thanks for asking about her.
See? Yeah. But no, I wanted to, with all these, first of all, free agency, man, before we get to the questions about injuries and all that, I got to ask you, how do you feel about your Washington Commanders?
Pretty good. I'm a little guarded just because of all the trauma we've gone through in the past. There are some acquisitions I would say I've liked more than others. I mean, part of it, I won't go too deep. I'm sure you want to talk about other things, but I mean, we're kind of in a somewhat window of got that rookie contract. We want to push, but not like spend all the money right away, and so I feel like maybe we reached a little on Kinlaw. That was a lot of money, I feel like, and he's kind of not shown that consistency with the Niners or the Jets. But Peters is the one that drafted him, and I think he knows him and
relationship.
And
that was relationship signing.
Sees the potential, and technically we'd be paying him less than Jonathan Allen, who we released. So if we think he can step up and he's younger and going to play possibly this potential, hopefully it's worth it. I'm a big fan of our new left tackle, Tunsil. I know, people are on him about all like his penalties last year. And I mean, he's still one of the better left tackles in the league. And I think I saw something where over the last 3 years, his pass protection rate is second behind Tristan Wirfs. So, I mean, you're bringing in a stud left tackle. It allows us to shift some other people on the O-line, make that better for Daniels. It's worth a few picks, in my opinion, to lock that down. So I like the moves we've made, even if maybe we overpaid a little bit. It's kind of like we need to get some of these guys in the building while we have the money and the cap to do it. So,
Doc, listen. Daniel Snyder is gone.
Yeah, you ain't got to worry about it no more.
You don't have to worry about it. Yeah. See, you're thinking about now, brand new day. You're good. Yeah. You're good.
Yeah. I don't mean to cover Doc's face, but Doc, you got to see this comment. I know, my bad. Here you go. I was laughing at it.
Yeah, man, that's the posse. God, love the posse. Back in those days, that was the best receivers ever. I mean, I can't remember. I think we already talked about Debo because that came out a couple weeks ago. But I mean, I still think he can be a weapon. And again, obviously he's a Peters guy too. And I think Kingsbury can maximize his potential. So no, honestly, I'm really excited about all the acquisitions. My wish list, we still need a edge rusher. We still need another defensive back, and we need like a speed type running back. But I think we got a chance to still get those, and then I'll be pretty happy.
Yeah, the draft is gonna be kind.
Yeah.
Daniel Snyder's not at the top of this thing no more. Doc, be happy. Just be happy.
Yeah. I don't feel like. Well, you locked up your D tackle in Dallas, but I feel like
I'm not a Cowboys fan no more. Doc. Remember, I'm a fan transfer portal.
Yeah. Well, I know you said that before. I didn't know if it was official or not.
Yeah. Doc, I'm gonna May 1st. I'm gonna decide my team. I'm gonna make my official announcement.
Well, and obviously the Bears got like 3 new offensive linemen. They've beefed up their protection. So I guess are we happy, Mr. Controversy?
Of course. I'm just trying to. I'm ecstatic, man. I'm just trying to be professional, but I've been sleeping with a smile on my face ever since. So I'm I'm good. But okay, I gotta ask you this. I wanted to ask you this last week when it first happened. I'm curious to know. We saw that Kyrie, he tore his ACL. Now, the fact that he's 32 years old right now, do you think he'll be able to return back to the Kyrie, the form that we saw him play this year? Or the fact that he's 32 now to be more of a toll on him and we might not see that explosive Kyrie anymore?
Yeah, it's a good question. Obviously, time will tell. I mean, our techniques and what we're doing now with ACL surgeries come a long way, even in the last 10 years. So, I mean, yes, he's older and it might take him a little longer to recover than if he was 22 and fresh in the league. But I mean, I think he should be able to at least get to like 95% of Kyrie. And is that good enough to still kind of maintain a little bit of that level or edge that he has? And I think so. So I don't expect a big drop off for him, assuming that all goes well. But again, it is tougher. You do go a little slower if you got someone in their 30s than their 20s, but I don't see a reason he's not, I think kind of not being a big guy too sometimes is in your favor, being a smaller body and guard, kind of less weight going through it. That can actually be helpful sometimes too. So I'd be optimistic for his return to be pretty close to the Kyrie of old, but I guess we'll see.
Now, do guys who got the old ACL surgery where they got that zip on their leg, is there any compensation that those guys can get out here in these streets anywhere, or just science? That's just science.
Wait, so I'm confused. Say it again on the old ACL side of things.
Remember when guys got that you had the cut in your knee, so those guys they used to call it a zipper. When it started healing, remember they had to stitch you back together. Yeah. Now they just laser it. Now you back to normal. Any guys with old ACL surgery? Any conversations?
I mean, things have changed. Let's put it that way. I mean, the old stuff was a little more barbaric and not as stout and probably not as long lasting, but that's why you're seeing people nowadays come back from ACLs a lot easier and more readily than you did even 15 years ago.
That'd be a funny, dog.
I know.
Let's talk LeBron James, dog. Here we go again. Not the first time he done been out with this growing injury. Can this somehow cause a problem as we come down the stretch? We're getting close to playoff time. Is it going to affect King James?
I mean, it can. I'm going to be honest. I mean, he's, I can't remember. Is he actually 39? He is,
40.
or is he 40? He did turn 40. Yeah, he did turn 40. So I mean, but again, LeBron has probably kept his body in better shape than 99.9999% of 40-year-olds out there. Let's be honest. But it's still going to take him some time. And again, no matter what your age is, if you're whether NFL or NBA, you know how I feel about soft tissue injuries, groin, calf, hamstring. They can linger, and they're tough because you're on a clock and you're you're trying to give it enough time so you can get back, but not re-aggravate it. And they're starting to run out of time. I mean, they're in a good position in general. It's a little packed, so I don't think they want to fall too far in the Western Conference and start worrying about the play-in games. So I don't think you're going to see them for the next couple weeks like they're planning, but I would be a little concerned that it could be a recurrent thing if they're not careful.
Because I'm wondering, like Mace was saying, this is not the first time he's had this. So can it be like because he's had problems with his groin that if somebody just touch him, then it might flare up again? Yeah, like it's reactivation, or is it just?
I think it would probably take a little more than something minor, but again, it can definitely happen. So again, I'm sure the Lakers medical staff are going to be smart about it. Try to give him the maximum time. Probably watch how the team does over the next 10 days or so that he's probably going to be out. And if they are, I know they've lost a couple. I think their last 2 on the road, but if they start winning some more games and can suffice with Luka and company, then they'll probably try to hold him out as long as possible. But if they keep losing games, they might have to try to get him in there a little quicker. And that's when you worry that, well, now are you opening up for something longer term to continue to bug him throughout the playoffs?
Yeah. One of the Marlon said he believed that this is his built-in rest before the playoffs around this time. So
yeah.
Blame the groin, LeBron.
All right, so we got another young stud. I like the way this guy plays, man. Even his brother, but Houston Rockets guard Amen Thompson is out with ankle sprain. Now he's listed to be out for 2 weeks, but as we call him, a Thundercat. He a Thundercat. So because he's so young, do you think he can heal up quicker than that, or is it going to be up to 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's a good question, and you can hindsight's 2020. I know some people are calling out the Rockets for the circumstances because they were up 30 in the fourth quarter, and the only reason they put him back in was to get one more rebound for a triple double, and then he sprained his ankle. So, I mean,
that was horrible.
So it's kind of like in retrospect, it's like, was that triple double worth a sprained ankle and being out for 2 weeks? But I mean, I'm sure there's some escalators and things you get with certain, performance things that are important to those guys to hit those numbers. So I get it both ways. But, I mean, I do think he's young. They did an MRI, apparently showed no structural damage. So you could see him back on the earlier side. But at the same time, I don't think they want to risk his long-term health or future or anything else either. So I would expect – 2 weeks to be about right. Maybe he pushes it a couple of days sooner, but I definitely don't think it's going to be anything crazy or long-term from what I hear or see.
We got to bring up baseball seasons around the corner. We got to talk Tommy John and Eric Cole. He's going to need it. 34 years of age, Doc. Is this it? Does he find his way back? Is the clock ticking on our guy?
No, it's and I've said this maybe not directly to you guys, but I almost have to say it. I say it to parents with youth baseball players trying to, curve this epidemic of worsening or more frequent Tommy John surgery. But it's almost if not when. So in a way, it's almost miraculous he's made it this long with as hard and well as he throws to finally need it. I mean, there's some guys that have already had 2 Tommy John surgeries these days by the time they're in their 30s. So including Ohtani to some degree is one. He's not even in his 30s, I don't think. I think he's still late 20s. But so yeah, the fact I'm pretty sure it's his first one. I don't think he had one before. So in a way,
I think this is the first one.
Yeah. So in a way, he's actually like old man Christmas getting his first one at 34. It's kind of impressive that he, like I said, that he lasted that long. So it doesn't surprise me. And again, almost to parallel like ACL surgery, Tommy John surgery, or a UCL tear, which used to almost be a career ender, has really advanced. And most of these guys are coming back pretty close to 100%. So no, I don't think he's done. He's definitely done for 2025, but I wouldn't be shocked to see him fully ready to go come 2026 and still be a very effective pitcher. So,
well, Doc, we definitely appreciate you, man. And yeah, sad, but yeah,
well,
man.
now I guess Marcus Stroman doesn't need to complain about not being in the starting rotation, I guess, anymore. So that was like,
here you go.
That was big drama with the Yankees. He wasn't going to like pitch because they were putting him as 6th man, but I think they lost 2 pitchers now.
Right.
I think Luis Gill's out too. So
every 4th day now, buddy. Every 4 days. Let's go.
Well, Doc, we just saw that y'all got a DN. Let me see who
we did.
Yeah, y'all just got a DN.
I'm assuming it's not Hendrickson.
No, it's the guy from somebody from the Patriots. It just flashed across, and I'm trying to see if I can find it. But yeah, it just flashed across my the screen. But yeah, I guess it'll come back up. But yeah, so. But he's y'all just got a DM from the Patriots. So I don't know his name, whatever. It flashed real quick, so I missed it. But I guess you can look that up. But we'll see what he do. But yeah, if y'all get Hendrickson, that's a wrap.
Raph, I gotta ask Doc. Is it over for Tiger Woods, Doc?
Oh
yeah, we gotta
Yeah, is it?
That's tough. I love Tiger probably like most people. So I don't want to say it's over, but I mean, God, he's had so many injuries and so many surgeries, and I mean, even if you're Superman, I feel like there's only so much you can take. It's his other. It's not the leg that got shattered and crushed in the car accident where he's had multiple surgeries and a rod put in his leg and a fusion just below his ankle.
Right.
So it's the other one, at least to some degree. But again, he's probably putting more stress on that side to compensate for the bad leg. And so it's not, I guess, in a way surprising, unfortunately, that it happened. So, I mean, it sounds like everything went well. Achilles, he's at his level, he's probably done for I wouldn't expect to see him in 2025. So now we're resetting to see if he'll be feeling good enough to try to make a run back in 2026.
Let it go, Tiger. You've been great. Yeah, I can't take seeing him limp and all this. It's tough.
Just go ahead and let it go, man. You good. That's what I say.
You're great, actually.
Great. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're great.
You're great.
But all right, Doc, we definitely appreciate you, man. And you have a great, wonderful week and rest of your weekend. Be great as well.
All right, fellas. See you next week.
All right, Doc.
All right, Mace. Let's get to basketball real quick, man. We talked about it a little bit with the Hawks. Hawks still 7th.
Yeah.
Hawks still 7th in the East. So I want to cover them. You know, I do. We cover them. So but sometimes it just get redundant. Being there for a playing game, they get in, then the playoffs, they get swept. It's like,
Middlebrook, Tiger, just go create golf courses.
Yeah,
go out here. Tiger proof the world.
So the Hawks go play in it. But anyway, do you think? Do you look? Why does the Hawks play with their food too much?
Listen, Ralph, you know this. We sit next to each other when we cover games. Nothing about this roster says impact in the playoffs. It screams play in. It screams we're headed to the off season. 1, 2, 3 Cancun. Cancun on 3. Cancun on me. I mean, just look at the names on our. I mean, a lot of times you out there and you. I mean, listen, you. I mean, you really hate to say this. I mean, they're all NBA guys. I mean, they in the NBA, so kudos. Right. But you're just like, I mean, we looking for LeVert to score 20. You know, we finally get the number 1 overall pick, and even though Zachariah Risase is starting to play a little bit better, I mean, you look at him and like it's nice. I'm like, I mean, what is he gonna be? He needs to get stronger. I mean, you know, and those things are gonna happen.
Right.
But again, at what point does Trey look around and finally say, you know what, I'm out? Like, I gotta request a trade. I have to. Why am I gonna continue to like? There is no plan here. Free agents aren't coming. I'm not getting nobody to come and say I'm gonna ride shotgun with Trey. I'm not.
Right. I don't know. Well, the verb been balling though, bro.
But do we honestly think that LeVert can give us 20 a night?
No. I mean, I don't think so, but we don't. I mean, shoot, every time he get a chance to do it, they move him, and I'm not talking about the Hawks. I'm saying the team, and he's playing. He's the third or fourth fiddle.
But it's a reason he's the third or fourth fiddle. That's what he is.
Because he's done it in Brooklyn. Like, he's done it when he had to, but he'll go somewhere where they have 2 stars already, you know, so he's a third guy.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, we don't know. I don't think he can. I don't know if he can. I don't know if he can. I'll say that. But I will say this. Can we see the Hawks try to make one more play? Because right now, how everything is going, will it get to a point where Minnesota might be like, hey, let's follow Dallas and we might get Ant out of here. Or Ant might say, let me go back home. I'm ready to get out of here.
No.
You think Ant would stay in Minnesota?
Yes. And I'm gonna tell you why. That's where he can get the Supermax.
That is true.
And the way his life is set up right now, Ant gonna need the Supermax.
You almost made me spit that water out. Like,
Ant can't leave no money on the table. The way Ant life set up, and clearly the way his offseason been going, Ant need every dime.
Every dime, yeah.
He gonna be in and out of court. Man, Ant, slow down.
Yeah, he do need that Supermax.
Slow down. But I'm dude. It's a concern that Trey is we gonna wake up one day and it's gonna be all over Twitter. It's gonna be all over your Facebooks, and it's gonna be like, man, Trey Young has requested a trade.
And only reason why he's requesting a trade is because it just seems like the Hawks are not trying to get him help. Like, if let's say if DJ was still here, maybe, you know, I ride out with my boy. Okay, cool. But when the what they just did, and it wasn't like they were saying, "Hey, we're trying to clear cap so we can go ahead and make this push for somebody." Right. This guy. It wasn't like they were doing it. It was like,
what's the plan? What are we doing?
Now, I know they were trying to get rid of DeAndre for a while, and you know, and it was like, at this point, he hot. Let's do it while we can. So I don't know if that was it. And I know Bogey wasn't happy because Bogey was like, yo, I'm not getting any playing time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So maybe, I don't know. But how it looks, you're right. Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't trust Kyle. I don't trust Landry. Tony Russell will be in and out the club too much over there in the Delta Club. So I mean, I don't know if he paying attention, but it's going to be a time where Trey is going to want out. I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see it because, you know, he probably feels like if I'm in a bigger market, I'm making all-star teams. Maybe I'm not making an all-star team because I'm in Atlanta.
Because he don't want to be, he don't want to be the Mitch Richmond of this era's NBA, where you're that good.
Yeah.
You can probably be the second two-man.
We're gonna look at, you're gonna have all the crazy numbers. All the crazy numbers.
you're not getting help, so you're not winning.
You're not
barely
winning.
fighting to get in the playoffs, and it's just So
and think about this too, Ralph. See, he's actually had success in the playoffs,
right?
And he know what it feels like because it puts you on an entirely different pedestal. Now, when your season over and Ja still playing, Ant still playing, Luka, who you forever tied to, Luka still playing. You want the opportunity to be like, I want to show that like I'm in that class.
Because remember what he said after that year, after he got in, he was like in the playoffs. He said the next year we asked him, because that was the COVID year. We asked him, like, how do you feel? Whatever. He's like, I'm not gonna lie, man. I didn't like it, but I understood it. But I know what he was coming from. He was like, if it was up to me, I could just bypass the season, and just get to the playoffs. He said it was no feeling like it. Trey's competitor.
Yeah, and again, because the last 8 teams are playing, you're on TV nationally every night. You're on the stage.
But Mace, we got to say this though. This is the type of team. I know he want more players or maybe better players, but this is the type of team that Quinn wants. Quinn is not big on superstars or a bunch of superstars. You think about in Utah, all he had was AK-47. He didn't have. It wasn't a whole bunch of stars or 2 big stars. No, it was scrappy guys who can play, who can hustle. That's all Quinn believes in. That's what he wants. That's his type of team. Yeah. So it's not going. I wonder if it's going to work out, like you said, because he's not pushing for that. Yeah, he wants some more help.
But is that the type of team?
No, I agree.
To be playing deep in the playoffs.
I agree. No, I agree. So
and Jarius, listen, I like Mogay.
Yeah,
I like Terrence Mann, but like you to your point right there. Jarius, that lineup ain't scanned nobody.
Hey, but nobody. Lisa, I'm gonna tell you this though. You onto something. Like I kept saying, they got them one with Daniels. When Dyson learns how to play the game, because right now he's just young and he's just green playing. But when he learns how to play in the NBA, like his game develops, he's gonna be a problem. Because right now, Dyson will go to the hole with no fear, but his layup game ain't there yet. But he's not scared. But once he learns how to play, they got them one, man. Like I said, so I don't know. Maybe they feel like I don't know. But as it appears, when you're at the game, when you're there pregame, and like you said, you see, especially when you see the GM, Landry chilling, Landry laughing like he had a barbecue. The joker might be talking to somebody, bust out laughing and run to the other end of the court laughing and come. Ain't
nobody studying Landry.
But that's that's how they do. What up? So I'm just saying, man. But yo, we gotta let's move on because press the time. The Braves. What player needs to step up the most this year? Who is that player that you like? All right, we need this out of him. He needs to step up for the Braves to really get. I mean, of course, everybody got to stay healthy. But who is it now? Who is it this year?
Dude, it has to be Mike Harris. We paid Mike Harris. He's our center fielder. He has to be that glue guy in our lineup. We need the consistency from Mike Harris, night in and night out. It's time for Mike to take that next step as being one of the faces, the centerpiece of MLB. Center fielders are almost like quarterbacks. Center fielders, shortstops, pitchers. Those are like the marquee guy. We remember how dope it was to have Andrew Jones all of those years. We need Mike to be much more consistent at the plate. He had a couple of and everybody go through a slump, but he had some lulls last year, and we need him. And it's not trying to jack home runs out the park. Mike, you Mike is one of these guys who can hit the ball. He spray the ball to
Yeah.
all fields. That's what we need Mike to do. And I know a lot of people be like, Matt Olson, because Matt Olson fell off. Matt Olson is your cleanup hitter, and he's gonna do what he do. But the guys around him, again, specifically Mike, because we move Mike up and down the they move him up and down the lineup. Sometimes he bats ninth, sometimes he bats leadoff. Sometimes they stick him in the middle of the lineup because of they know that the way he, his scouting report, because he is one of these guys who can just make crazy contact.
Yeah.
That's why he's so important to this Braves lineup. Most guys like Acuna, he'll lead off hitter. Or sometimes you can move him down to third. Everybody else pretty much slided. Albies is always gonna bat second. Olsen's gonna be your cleanup hitter. Shout out to Ozuna. Ozuna is, what I'm saying? Let's hope he can run that back what he did last year. Y'all know how I felt about Ozuna last year. But for me, it's Mike Harris, because Mike Harris is our multifaceted guy. And he's that chess piece that hey, I can put him all over this thing. It got to be Mike Harris.
Let me ask you this: we know Acuna is that dude. We know
that dude without a doubt.
But Mike Harris' potential, I feel like, or do you feel like, this is what I feel? I feel like it might be the best on the Braves. Just his potential, his skill set, what he, maybe excluding Acuna, but I'm just saying Mike Harris is dynamic center fielder.
Crazy.
The way that he can, like you said, a contact, like he can affect the game. We saw it his rookie year, the way he was affecting the game as a rookie.
Yes.
So no, I agree. Let me I'll move on to this. LG, he asks again, do you think the Ravens are going to be good this year? I mean, they're going to be like they always be, but
yeah, that pitching. What will the pitching let us down the stretch? If we get an injury here there, and we have to start going to our bullpen, and y'all already know I don't like Brian Snitker a whole lot. Like he Bobby Cox Jr. to me. He act just like Bobby Cox.
Right.
He act just like Bobby Cox.
Everybody don't like. Yeah, everybody's not.
Like Bobby Cox Bobby Cox gave a way more World Series than anybody in the history of baseball.
Right.
Bray should have ran off like 6 in a row one time.
Right.
We winning all them damn pennies. Every time I go out there and I see them pennies, I be throwing stuff at them.
Right. That don't mean nothing. But all them pennies, dog.
Lennon Smith getting tricked in Minnesota.
Hey, real quick. All right, before we move on, like I said, do you think the Ravens are gonna be good? I mean, they're gonna be good. They're always gonna be good, but they're just not gonna get over the top. That's the thing. Or are they gonna get over the top over that hump? The Ravens. That's the question. But hey, somebody said it used to be Oakland, but they said now, especially if you're a receiver, your career is over when you go to the Ravens.
Yeah. Steve Smith, DeAndre Hopkins,
Ravens in Tennessee. They say.
My dog went out there too. Anquan Bolden.
Deshaun.
Deshaun Jackson ended up playing out there.
Yep, Deshaun Jackson went there. Remember?
Jesus Christ! Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they like signing over the hill receivers.
Lisa said Acuna needs bubble wrap too. Yep.
Yeah, we definitely got to put him in some shrink wrap. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Fragile, very fragile.
All right, so we always end it with this. We got a topic we want to talk about, and we talked about NIL. I want to know if the NIL was back in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. We're going to name, I want the top 3 players who you believe are the 3 players that will make the most money.
Well, We got it real quick. We got
college football and basketball. So we do basketball first and football.
Okay, but for the A's, we got to throw out. We really got to throw out Eric Dickerson because they really got the bag.
Yeah, they got their. Yeah, they got their.
They got the death penalty.
They don't count, right?
Yeah. Throw them out. They got the bag and a Trans Am. So
right.
Shout out to the Pony Express.
Right. But so who do you think in basketball? Well, let's start football since you talked about ED.
Yeah, throw Eric Dixon out. Listen, the top earner, period, in college football, Reggie Bush. You have to go Reggie Bush. I really don't believe people understand how raw Reggie Bush was. Reggie Bush was must-see TV every Saturday. Reggie Bush in college was on the cover of Dub magazine with his black SS Impala, Troy Polamalu jersey on, the Concord Jordans. I remember being in Kroger and I saw the magazine. I said, just say you're getting paid without you getting paid. This dude was in college on the cover of Dub magazine.
Yeah.
Rolex on, chain swinging. Come on. Reggie Bush was, I know we just kind of got the term him. Reggie Bush was him.
Yeah. Do you think so? He definitely won. He definitely top.
He's the one. He's one of one.
You think he would get more than Peyton?
Yes.
Woo!
Only because he was more electric. See, the thing about USC at that time, USC was nationally known.
Yeah.
Nationally known. Remember, they would play Notre Dame every year. That's enough right there.
That's enough right there.
Peyton Manning was regional. Now, I will say this about Peyton. If somehow Peyton had won that Heisman Trophy, would have changed his life. Because if it's me, and we're just talking about strictly college, I'm putting Tim Tebow ahead of Peyton Manning.
I agree with that.
Tebow was remember that dumbass speech Tebow gave after they lost, and now they done put it on a whole statue down in Gainesville.
Yep.
GTFOH, y'all. Really?
Hey, I will put. You know what? You're right. Because so we have right now we got Reggie and Tebow. Do you think so? These are other guys you got to think about now. I'm just naming them. Peter Warwick, Michael Vick.
I'm putting Michael Vick. I'm putting Mike Vick in here
number 3
of Peter Warwick.
Peter Warwick, okay. Yeah. Then Matt Leinart.
Matt was so I'm gonna say this about Matt. He was the quarterback, but I think a lot of people would tell you that you could have put me at quarterback, handing off to Reggie Bush, Lindell White, throwing to Dwayne Jarrett and Mike Williams, and just that team, the defense that they had.
No, you're right.
I think people would be like, yeah, anybody could play quarterback.
But remember, he did win the Heisman too.
But again, he won. Now, a lot of people, he won the Heisman. There's a lot of people who will tell you that he didn't deserve the Heisman. He almost has said that he didn't deserve that Heisman.
That team was all world, dog. That USC.
Go look at that defense.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think.
That team was crazy.
Who else was big? Because that's all I could think of right now. I'm trying to think who else was like Deshaun, maybe?
Deshaun who?
Watson.
Nah, local. Regionally.
Yeah, regionally he was. I mean, that last year he was, but yeah.
Regionally, Deshaun was a star, but like,
well, he's not.
People in California would be like, hey, we ain't watch no Clemson games. We ain't watch no Clemson games.
Herschel. You think Herschel would have been that?
Herschel was the best. It's an argument that Herschel Walker is the best college football player ever.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do you put Herschel up there?
I will have to put Herschel in there.
So
Herschel might be the third.
So right now, the top three we got Reggie
Bush and Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow for sure.
It's gonna be hard for it to find two guys who are bigger college stars than those two.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think that was when you think about stars, I'm trying to think.
And
do we put Deion? You think Deion would? No, Deion wasn't like that.
Nah, because again, it was regionally.
Maybe Charles Woodson. I mean, I don't know if he was top three, but Charles Woodson was because he was the first defensive. He was,
Yeah, but he really shouldn't have won the Heisman. Like, if we really keep it in a buck, he really shouldn't have won the Heisman.
But that's the thing. They gave it to him based on the fact that the defensive player, he could play offense too,
right.
And
so that is, and again, that's the trick. And even I was saying this back then. He would only play like 4 or 5 plays of offense.
Right.
Now, he had that knack for making the big play. If Peyton Manning could have just found a way to beat Florida, Peyton Manning win the Heisman.
I got you. You know who would have got it?
Who?
The Boz. Boz might have been number 3, dog. Because Boz was a big deal.
He was a big deal. This is where we have the problem with Boz. Because that Oklahoma team was hated so much because of Jamel, because of Charles Thompson going to jail. People hated Barry Switzer, Barry Switzer. So they were kind of really Boz had a lot of cover Sports Illustrated.
He was on there, right?
I think when people think about Boz, you never really hear people talk about his college career.
But that's the whole
point. Him getting ran over by Bo Jackson. Yeah. It's like they always talk about Reggie Bush's college career. They always talk about Tim Tebow. They can't talk about that. They always talk about Tim Tebow college career.
But you know what? You can't come back after that if you get ran over by Bo like that. And you supposed to be that dude. That was on Monday Night Football too.
That's Bo we talking about.
It was Monday Night Football. That was
Bo Jackson we talking about right now.
That his whole career. Oh. Okay, so we agreed as Tebow, Reggie Bush, not in order, but order Reggie Bush, Tebow, and who's the third one? Are you going Michael Vick? Or are you going?
I'm going Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker, okay.
I'm going Herschel Walker only because a lot of people today.
Boz was so marketable though.
He was.
He had the buzz cut.
But nobody ever said he was the best football player ever.
True, but here's my comeback to that. It's a lot of players now that the people that's making the most money are not the best football player, even in today's game. But it's that marketability,
right?
Where you are, and I'm just wondering because he was so because to me he was like the first marketable. I mean, you know better than me. Not much, but you older than me. So I was still young, but I remember he was like the most marketable college player ever at that point.
Yeah. So this is what I always say. On Saturday afternoon, you look on you look at the time we had to look at TV Guide or. Yeah. When you had cable had it was a guide channel. You just could hit no button. You had to
watch the whole thing. Right, watch it like 5 times too.
Let me go pop some popcorn when I come back. Maybe they're gonna be at ESPN.
And don't miss it. Then you got to sit through it again.
Yeah, you got to go through it again.
Hear that music, but go ahead.
So when I saw Oklahoma was on TV, did I stop everything I was doing? And the answer is no. When USC was on TV,
you was watching.
You were running home to see Reggie Bush. Matter of fact, you was like, "We going?" I ain't going. Nah, I'm watching USC. We can do that later. And I feel like him and Tebow
Was
Well,
that? I
they were
agree.
just must see TV.
So between Tebow, between Herschel and Vic, then you got Herschel because Vic was something we never. It was like Herschel was that dude too. Like we never was must see TV, but Vic was like.
Yeah, we had never seen that.
Vic was more of you heard about Vic. You know, I gotta watch this guy. I heard.
Yeah, we never saw the quarterback being the fast perfect field. So yeah, I mean Vic was crazy electric.
So who you got? You still got Herschel?
Nah, I think I'm gonna put Vic in there.
Vic, okay, Vic. Okay,
I think I'm gonna put Vic in there.
Okay, so college basketball now.
Oh, I gotta start with Derek Coleman. I gotta start with Derek Coleman.
Over Christian?
No. What I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
We going 80 because they really like 90.
We just naming names. It's just
okay.
like
So if we're gonna start, I'm gonna start Christian Laettner. Everybody hate Christian Laettner. He got a damn 30 for 30.
Yeah.
The whole world hated Christian Laettner. But
let's keep it a buck. White, clean cut guy.
Baller.
He was a baller first.
He was a baller.
The best, might be the best college basketball player ever.
Christian Laettner was a dog.
Yeah. A dog.
A dog.
I couldn't stand him, but he was a dog. But I couldn't stand him. Bless you. But look, clean cut. He was a white guy, white boy.
He was at Duke. Say less.
And he was at Duke. Just
most
Duke.
storied program in America.
But he was that dog, best player. So he's definitely number one.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know who might be number two? Now that I think about it. Well, I think number two gonna be Shaq. Because Shaq was colorful.
Super dominant.
Dominant.
We hadn't seen nobody that big. I think people forget how athletic Shaq was.
Mm-hmm.
You got a 7'1", 300-pound mofo getting up and down the floor ahead of guards.
Right.
Crazy.
Ooh, hear me out. I'm going to name some names. Hear me out.
Okay.
Reason why I'm going to say Starberry.
Ooh.
Starberry was a freshman.
Ooh.
That big at Georgia Tech.
Ooh.
Now, that was like, oh, who is this guy? Here's another one. Allen Iverson. Now, a lot of people didn't like him, but Allen Iverson, the swag, the way we had never seen it. Then he played for Georgetown. We had never seen
back on the map. Hoya paranoia was back.
Yeah, so
Hoya paranoia was back. I'm gonna give AI the edge over Steph Marbury.
Mm-hmm.
Only because I just think Marbury, I think he was more of even though he was a New York point guard, he was the best kid to ever come out of the Coney Island, all that stuff right there, super highly recruited. But I think at Georgia Tech, we expected more. Like, he didn't put it for him to be the best player in his class or whatever he's supposed to be. He didn't put Georgia Tech on his back and make a crazy run.
True. Now remember, he was a freshman though. He only played one season. Remember?
Right, but that's what I'm saying. He was AI.
That wasn't unheard of. That wasn't unheard of though. Go ahead.
But when you gotta think how revered Kenny Anderson was.
Yeah.
Kenny Anderson took Georgia Tech to the Final Four.
Yeah.
Even though he played, 2-3 years.
Right.
But it was so much hype with Marbury.
Yeah.
It was so, dude. I remember Marlon telling Marlon, if he wasn't there, he's heard this story. When Marbury got to Atlanta, I don't know who gave this. I don't know who gave it to him. Marbury had the green Lexus SC 300. That's the little sports car Lexus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Green, tan interior, big chains. He was always so run and shoot was the spot. Everybody who was somebody was there. You would see your favorite NBA guy, your favorite kind of guys in run and shoot.
Right.
Marbury came in that mofo, wheat Timbs, big jeans, big chains, put in work. Put in work. And this was before we saw him play at Tech.
Right.
But everybody like, I didn't realize his head would that big. He got a ginormous head. They're like, yo, that's the Coney, that's Coney Island. Da, 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 da. Never seen some of that stuff he was doing.
Right.
Oh yeah. Tech gonna make a run.
Yeah.
No, they didn't make a run. And maybe it was because Marbury, a lot of people know, and I think Marbury has mentioned this as well in some places. He was in these Atlanta streets so hard. I just think it was hard for him before he was 18.
In Atlanta too.
In Atlanta, and everybody, he from New York, and somebody was funneling that boy the bag.
Yeah, you know he was getting it.
So, and that may have played a part. So I'm gonna put AI ahead of Steph Marbury, but Steph Marbury was that deal.
Larry Johnson.
Gotta put that UNLV team. LJ was the catalyst. LJ, Plastic Man, Anderson Hunt, Ackles. That was
team, dog.
That was a tough team. But LJ, what that do? But Christian Laettner them whooped them that second time round.
Oh yeah,
they whooped them. They whooped them boys.
That one year though, they.
Oh, now when they beat them by 30 that first to go round.
Yeah, they would. Right.
No, they would. Yeah.
Right. So Jerry said Chris Webber. Would you put Chris Webber in it?
You got it. You know what?
Would he be top 3? Here's the only thing with Webber. I think he could have, but Webber.
Don't hold that time out against Webber.
No. Webber was hated. Remember, coming out of college, coming out of high school, because he came from a nice area. He would have made his money, but he was hated because of the first year. He was flashy. He was bright. And it was Michigan, Black Sox. You know how they work.
So we had, and we do have to give Michigan credit when we think about that. We do have to give Webber, and mostly Webber, because he was the focal point of that team. He was the best player on that team. Just a menace.
Dog.
Just a menace, and it wasn't nothing he couldn't do.
That was the thing. But I think what messed him up was, what would have messed him up as far as not being the top? I'm saying he would have got his money, but he was brash, and this is early 90s, so they ain't like that. Ball, then he cut his hair bald. That was another thing.
Yeah, everybody went bald. Middlebrook, we got it. So we have to add Chris Webber simply because he was one of the first guys to basically let it be known, hey, how can I walk across campus and my jersey is selling everywhere?
Right.
And I don't have a dime.
But you don't think what would have messed him up was the first when they played Duke and they lost. And remember, he was like, y'all think I'm a nigga? That's what y'all think I am? That's what remember he went on that tangent and he was hurt.
I don't think that affect because I think
everybody started hating him there after that. Everybody
they did. But
they started hating him.
What they did for the culture.
No, you're right.
The baggy shorts. Listen, Michigan gear was at an all-time high.
Michigan set the culture. Or I know Jordan shorts were baggier than everybody else, but Michigan set the culture for the NBA.
Michigan had the one that really
basketball.
Came
Dog, they started because basketball teams went to that, whether it's NBA, college, overseas.
Bruh, their impact, and like I said, Chris Webber you gotta, even though Jalen Rose said he the one that kind of put all the stuff together, but we watched because of Chris Webber. Chris Webber would have made a killing, and because all you saw was that number 4. So I dated my junior year because that me and Chris Webber graduated the same year, but that freshman year, our freshman year, my girlfriend was from Detroit, and she went. I was like, "Do not come back down here this summer when we come back to school without a yellow Michigan jersey, a blue Michigan jersey, and some of them shorts."
Right.
Dude, I got a pair of Michigan shorts. I know I wore in the class about 3 times a week. Every week. Every week. What Weber was dog, that 4 Michigan jersey was hot.
That was hot.
What,
So yeah,
I gotta put Webb in there, dog.
I'm with you, dog.
I gotta put Webb in there. Good call, Middlebrook. Gotta put Webb in there.
Yeah. What about Grant?
Nah, nice guy. Nice guy. Was a baller. Nice
Duke?
guy. Dude,
But he went Duke.
Rich parents.
4
Dad
years.
played NFL.
He was perfect. Yeah.
Mama was a lawyer. People didn't like that. People didn't like that.
You don't think?
Nah, people didn't like that.
Mm.
I know we hated on it. And like I said again, me and Grant here graduated together. So I know we hated on it. We hated on it.
And we right. But
We
the
hated
mask, you don't think the mask, like them, he's like you said, he went Duke, clean cut, 4 years.
I'll never really remember people like I'm giving me a high top fade because of Grant Hill. Both of them cut their hair off because of Chris Webber.
Nah, you ain't lying. And then that was the year everybody started hating Duke anyway. So
yeah, well, everybody always hate that. I'm a Carolina fan, so I've always hated Duke my entire life. Hate Duke with a passion.
So only other person I can think of right now is because Tim Duncan was boring.
Yeah, Tim Duncan would he got nobody excited.
I'm thinking Ray Allen is one.
UConn teams were always so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they was all. But, I mean, if you talk like UConn, I think Kimber had more moments than Ray Allen.
I agree.
In college.
Here go one. I'm tripping. Pat Ewing. You don't think Pat?
Oh yeah, Pat Ewing, one of the gods.
Yeah, he top 5 easily for
Pat
best
Ewing,
college basketball player ever.
Yeah.
So do you think? So who you got? You got Weber. So to me, I'm right now. We said Christian, and then we said Shaq. So it's between Weber, Iverson, and Pat Ewing. Who you got? Because I can't think of nobody else that would have.
Yeah,
in the 2000s that was like.
I had to go Weber, man. Cause Weber made it cool.
Yeah, Weber. Yeah.
Weber made it cool, and then
But hey, but
you was 7 foot.
But look, Ewing though.
We don't know about 7 foot.
But hey,
we don't know about 7
but I would say, but Ewing, when he started that. Wearing
the t-shirt up on the jersey.
That was hard. That was hard. You can't tell us we started doing that.
I didn't like Pat Ewing because of them damn knee braces. I like, why do you have them damn knee pads on? Right. Man? Why?
Hey, but I ain't gonna lie, man. I ain't gonna lie. When the shirt, the gray shirt, and he would wear the gray shirt too.
Yeah,
gray shirt with the man, that was a lot. What that swag was crazy, but. I agree. I would say Weber, but Iverson though, man. Iverson had a crossover, dog.
AI close, man. I mean, he was definitely a cultural phenomenon.
He was
cultural phenomenon.
Jerky, but like you said, Weber with just what he created, what they created.
Weber kind of invented swag, dog. I mean, if we being honest, man, he kind of invented swag.
Yeah, because I don't think Jordan maybe, I don't know. Jordan been up there. Oh, we saying 80s. We forgot Magic.
That was really 70s.
Yeah, that was 70. I'm tripping. That was 70.
Really
I'm tripping. That's 79. That don't count. Yeah, that was 70. I'm tripping. My bad. But Jordan, no, I think he would have been up there, but not like that. So we saying Weber, Shaq, and Christian Laettner.
Yeah. Them the NIL guys.
There you have it. It's
dope list.
Dope list.
Reggie Bush was him, though. Reggie Bush was
the guy, dog.
Reggie Bush was him.
Yeah, Reggie was that guy, man.
Jesus.
But hey, man, it's been another great show.
I'm gonna watch me some Reggie Bush highlights tonight.
Hey, but if you hear this music, already know what it means. These are the songs. If you go, but let's have a couple shout outs. Stay tuned. It might be fun. do what I do, say what I say, make you upset, mad, happy, want to give us a stop it button. We appreciate you. My stop it goes to the Miami Dolphins for picking up I can't even think of the quarterback name. The quarterback came from the Jets. Starting quarterback. That was there before Rodgers.
Oh yeah, your boy Josh Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
Yeah, Zach Wilson.
I don't know what was that for, but anyway.
The
right. Also, man, I want to thank my guy Mace coming on. Mace, anything you want to say, dog?
Everybody, love on your people, man. Love on your people. That's my message. Be the love on your people, man.
Yes, sir.
That's my message. That's my inspirational vitamin, as Frank Ski like to say.
Yes, sir. Wilson. Lisa, what you talking about when you say Wilson?
Oh, Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson. Yeah, from Trevor. Appreciate it. That's right, Zach Wilson. Yeah, you got to stop it for that. Whatever. Stop it. I'll just do it like that. Anyway, also want to shout out to our guest, man. Dr. Fowler always coming in. He's no guest, us family. Appreciate you. Our guy, Steve Weiss, for coming on, man. Dope segment. Can't wait to have Steve Weiss back on. Definitely will. Then shout out to everyone who was in here in the chat room, man. Lisa, Coach Jam, Jarius Middlebrooks, LG Prods. We
Look, police still Seahawks fan. She don't know what to do with herself now.
Oh Lord.
Gino gone. Now she's stuck with Sam Donald. She had Sam Donald jokes last year. Now she got to kill Sam Donald.
Now she's stuck. What you get? Shout out to Marlon Malcolm, Vincent the Fantasy Juru. Who else was in here? Antoine. Appreciate you, Antoine. We had Jay Miller in here. We had Cuz. Cuz came on for a second. Jacob, always, man. Team NBS Media. Hey, we appreciate all y'all. Also, shout out to my lovely children, my nieces and nephews, uncles, cousins, aunties, grandparents, brothers and sisters, play cousins. Hey, as May said, love on your family. Let family know that you love them while they still can feel it, while they're still alive. Also, be safe. Watch sports. We got basketball heating up. Free agency just by itself. You know what I'm saying? Just by itself. Spring training. Going stupid. If you in NHL and hockey, NHL, they getting ready for the playoffs. College basketball, we tourney time now. Hey, about to be that March Madness. What is March Madness? Also, man, eat good, drink responsibly. Until next week, same time next week, same show, same sports nonsense, same sports content. When you miss me, we're out. Peace.
What up, y'all? You know who it is, your boy Kiss. Right now, you checking out the 3-point conversion.